yeah, oh yeah. Hayi. Bathi ungizela ngama-zep, zep, 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 zep. Ungizela ngama-zep, zep. Hayi. Ziyakhala, my bruise. Ziyakhala. Alrighty. We're about to get into it. We're about to get into the lits. We're about to get into it, man. 2 minutes before everything kicks off. Do share the live so that as many people as possible do join. Let's make sure that we're sharing it. Let's make sure that we're going to kick it off very, very soon. Please do repost. Please do share the live so that we kick off and we get it started. All right then. Hey, ayikhale. Kuqhuma idebate. Nkosi yami, nca ngawusi. Sizodebate iy'ngane ngawusi. Nca ngawusi. Yebo, sesulelato. Nca ngawusi. Let's get ready. We're gonna be kicking off. Came in from 41.8. Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting debate. So it's gonna be between YIBAv and BULLPEN. And if you've been, around when we ran the last, is it 3 debates? You will know for a fact that the way we run them is that the only people that are going to be allowed on the panel as we kick off, it's only the 2 people that are going to be actually debating. So right now, the only 2 people that I'm going to accept will be YIBAv as well as BK. So I'm waiting for the 2 of them to request and come up, and then we will take it on from there. But yeah, man, we're here for it. Just waiting for the 2 panelists to jump onto the platform. I see that. Oh yeah, the gents are already here. Look at that for punctuality. Love it. All right. BK won't show up. BK is here, man. BK is here. So everybody is here, gents. Let me just first ask you guys, how you guys doing? How you feeling? Are you ready for it? BK, how you doing, bro?
My brother, how you doing, my brother?
Yeah.
I'm doing my best,
man. Not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing my best. Brother
Cool.
YIBAv, how you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Are you ready for this punishment?
Look, yes, indeed. I just got home 30 minutes ago, so.
Oh, man, we haven't began yet. Already you came with the excuses. We haven't began yet. Already.
Fine, we'll see how it goes. How are you, Kanakan?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Guys, please do like the live. Please do support the live. Please post it as well. Make sure that you are sharing it, you're reposting, and please do support the platform. Do support the 2 speakers that will be speaking as well. Just so that I can set some ground rules so that everybody understands how it's going to go. I know I do have moderators on the live, but for tonight, I am going to be the one that is running it. You can't host with this Plaza internet. I think the problem is on your side, bro. On my end, everything is solid. So the way it's going to go, guys, is that I'm going to moderate the conversation on the panel, and I'll also be the one that is accepting guests. There will be no guests being accepted until the debate is done. How it's going to run is this way. It's going to run with the 2 speakers. Bonagele, I think you are the one that has the sound issues on your end, because everybody else, I think, can hear me pretty clearly. So here's how it's going to run, guys. Each one of the 2 debaters will have 5 minutes for their opening statements. Thereafter, once they are both done with their first 5 minutes, we are then going to have 5 minutes for each speaker to rebuttal the points that they have heard being made by each and every individual speaker. So 5 minutes will be given to BK Elite for him to rebut the statements you heard YIBAv make, and the same for YIBAv as well. When that is done, we are then going to have a question and answer session between the two of you guys, where you then get to actually engage each other, where you're asking each other questions back and forth. When that is done, we will then have 3 minutes for both of you to give your closing statements. After that, I'm going to open the panel for 4 people at a time, 4 people at a time, to come up and ask questions based on what they have heard the panelists discuss. There'll be 4 people at a time, and please be aware, you must come up to ask questions. It's good for you to react and say, I think the debates went well, but it'll be very productive for us that at the end of that, you are able to give a question to one of the 2 debaters that are currently on the platform. To my moderators, as I have said, I will be the one that is running everything in terms of who is coming up, in terms of muting people, taking requests, and everything like that. So we will make sure that we are doing that. And at the end of the whole conversation, I will probably bring up Ukinga Fifi for us to discuss what's going to be happening in tomorrow's live or tomorrow's debate. If not, I will make the announcement myself. But I hope everybody is doing well. The gentlemen are both here. We have we have BK Elite, and we have YIBAv, aka YIBreezy, and the topic is right there. Does nationality shape who you are, or do genetics shape who you are? It's a very open discussion, gentlemen. So in order to determine who it is that is going to go first, I'm going to do a Google coin toss. So I'm going to ask you guys simply, who wants to call it first, heads or tails?
My brother, I'm always ahead.
Ladies first, yeah.
Okay. All right. I am flipping the coin. And yes, it has landed on heads. So BK Elite, you decide who goes first. Are you going to speak first, or will it be YIBAv?
So, Sis YIBAv, please.
Brilliant. All right, guys, welcome to the debate. Welcome to the bullpen. And please, again, be aware, I am not accepting any requests until the debate is done. So, YIBAv, your 5 minutes start right
Wait, hold on. Sorry,
now.
sorry.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
before you go on, I just want to clarify something. I realized
Sure.
when I was driving home today that actually the topic is so wide open that is because remember BK chose this topic, right? And I can debate both sides. I just want to understand, is he making the argument that genetics are the reason we should open borders, or is he wanting to talk about epigenetics and genetics as its own topic so that I know where to direct it? That's why I would love, yeah?
We just began. Don't bring the excuses. We just began. You had the time to address
So
this.
here's how we're going to
Okay,
do it.
bye.
It's no problem, BK. No, it's okay. I'll address it. Breezy, I think what we're going to do is this. Given the fact that both of you are going to have 5 minutes of rebuttals, you can give your submission based on the preparation you have made, and then he will bring his as well.
Correct.
Thereafter, if there are any issues in between, or if there's any miscommunication, I, as the person who is moderating this entire debate, will then determine whether or not you guys have extra time so that you can expand on the views that you currently hold, or if there are any that you want to add onto your arguments. Is that fair?
That is fair. That is fair. No, it's okay. Look, we can go either way, but I just wanted to go according to whatever he wants to talk about. So
No
that's
problem.
fine. That's
No
fine.
problem at all. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do now, YIBAv. Your 5 minutes starts now. You can go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, there's the countdown. All right. So does nationality shape who you are, or do genetics shape who you are? It was quite clear. I could see I don't know where he's going to go with the topic, but we'll just take it from there. But if he's speaking about the old argument of nature versus nurture, then, which focuses on human behavior and development, if those are determined by your genetics, which is basically your nature, your nationality, or your upbringing, which is your future, then we can discuss those. And this is something that has been extensively studied from the biology side since I think the late 19th century, and was pioneered by someone named who's this? I forgot his name now. It's something Francis Galton, right? And he was tasked with investigating whether does talent or character run in the family, or is it just a mere fact of your surroundings and your environment? Now, I'm going to make this point just for everyone is clear, right? So when we're speaking about genetics, or what we call nature, we're talking about all your innate biological features, right? Such as your genes, your DNA, all your pre-wiring, all which influence your physical traits. So that's the color of your eyes, your height, whether you are predispositioned to certain health conditions, etc. When we're talking about environment, we are talking about all the external factors that influence outside of just your genetics. So that's your upbringing, your family, your culture, your education, your life experiences. All those things influence your beliefs, your values, your behaviors, including your early childhood experiences. Ne? So I'll give you examples. If you take a child, let's say maybe that has a genetic predisposition to potential for high intelligence, which is nature, but that child lacks good schooling, for example, that potential will never be realized because the environment that they are in, and I'm speaking to the topic, guys, because the environment that they are in does not enable them to realize this. So it matters where you are born. It matters that you are born in South Africa and not in Gabon or South Sudan. It matters that you are born in Lisbon and not in fucking Lagos. And you see this, for example, Lokshin, have you ever come across like people who are so smart, and when you talk to them, you realize how talented these people are, and you think maybe, if they were born in a different environment, they would have become something more than what they became, or Ustalitoran, Ekoneni. A good example of this is actually that guy, Manela Para, that loiters around Bram and Malvel and stuff, I think Bonga, whatever. That's someone who, although has a potential for high intellect from a genetic perspective, but he ended up as Ipara. So there's many examples. So to answer the prompt shortly, I'll just get to it, is that yeah, I'll get to it because I only have a minute left. Yeah, to answer the prompt is that it's actually both. It's both your environment, your genetics, as well as your environment. So your genetics and your environment determine who you are, and this has been extensively studied by many people. So we are born with a genetic blueprint, which is your nature, your nationality. Your genetics, and it constantly gets updated and edited depending on where you are or where you live around the world. So that's your exposure versus where you are. So, in conclusion, this debate is not about our shared ancestry. That's what I want to make. What I'm arguing here is that DNA should not be a blueprint for political borders, and that if we remove these borders, will it improve governance and stability, or will it actually undermine those things?
All right. Thank you, my brother.
All right, cool. BK, obviously you'll be making your own submission based on your own preparation. You will
Yes.
have your own 5 minutes to rebut what you have heard from YIBav. But right now, your 5 minutes starts now.
All right. Thank you, my brother, for wasting 5 minutes of our lives, but it's okay. Hopefully my submission will save us. So now, I like what the brother said. It is about nature versus nurture. But interestingly, one thing that I want to add here is that there is a science called epigenetics, which talks about how what is outside of you affects your genetics. Then there's number 3, how your environment contributes to your predisposition. Now, predisposition is a very important thing because it shows that there are certain things that certain people are able to consume without experiencing adverse effects. And then there are certain people who can consume things who will not experience adverse effects. Now, when we talk about what identity is and who you are, there's no way for us to run away from the fact that, number one, you as a whole person dictate who you are. What's inside of you dictates who you are. And if this brother believes even in his own cultural movement called Istagazelo, that is genealogy, but it's just being passed down in a different way. So this tells you about certain people. This tells you about where they come from. And this is what your genetics will be able to do. The reason why you're taller than somebody else, the reason why you're shorter than somebody else, the reason why you see further, the reason why you can survive in the sun, other people cannot survive in the sun. This is all telling us about genetics. So therefore it tells us that there are people who are different based on the type of blood that they have. Now, what this brother over here is actually sitting and making us experience, we are experiencing a brother who believes that other people from another culture, from another race, from another bloodline are his brother. And that is the cognitive dissonance that we are going to be fixing today. You see, what we're experiencing is a person who's going to deny his blood so that he'd be able to make space for the same people who have tortured his people for the past 400 to 2,000 years. This is what this man is standing for. And I do not think that he'd be able to argue his point strong enough to explain to us why he thinks like this. But my thing here in the first 5 minutes is that he brought in Darwinism and his brother Francis here. And we can see that there's clear nepotism here between these two because they are related. But one thing that the brother won't be able to explain is if pangenesis is a theory of Charles Darwin, because we also know that the theory of pangenesis has been debunked already as being a failure. So we cannot rely on the type of science this man has brought forward for us. So what I want to say here specifically is that what you experience, what you see, your time your memories do affect who you are. But we are going to say that your environment, your foods, the way that your bloodline relates to you carries more weight than I would say any single thing that you can bring towards us at this current moment. So one thing that I do want to point out is that you can gain better talent, or you can become more talented than your adversary by being able to work out, by being able to do things that can influence your DNA directly. And these are the things that we're going to explore so that we'd be able to see if this man's nationality ideology would be able to stand, because nationality has contradictions. And the contradiction that we are going to see is that the things that he stands for don't directly correlate with his DNA. And it actually betrays his DNA. It betrays who he is. It betrays what he stands for. It betrays what all of the people that have suffered in the name of his bloodline. It betrays that. So everything that he is doing, that he's proposing to us right now, is a failure, and it comes from an acculturation process. An acculturation process is when people from a different bloodline or from a different culture comes and gives you your ideology of life. So this is what we're going to talk about: nationality versus genetics.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I will stress this again. Guys, please do keep supporting The panelists, please do support the live. Please do keep tapping the screen, liking, and sharing. What we're going to do now is that we're going to give each of the two speakers 5 minutes for them to have rebuttals based on the arguments that were brought forward by their counterparts. And please be aware, I will not be accepting any requests until they are done with their closing statements. Thereafter, we will then accept people onto the panel to ask the two debaters questions. I'm going to stress that again. There are no requests that are going to be accepted onto the panel until the end of the formal debate. 5 minutes for rebuttal. YIBAv, your 5 minutes starts now. You can rebut the stuff that you had heard submitted by UBK Elite. You can go ahead.
So he walked right into it. You literally like carried yourself. The reason I wasn't sure whether you want to talk, in fact, you were all over the place because you spoke about 400 years of pilgrimage. You see, when I started, I told you, I spoke about what, when we talk about genetics, what we're referring to. And I told you this is an ancient debate which was started a long time ago. And modern science proves that it's an interplay of both, right? I told you genetics are your biological factors which you inherit as part of your genes, your DNA, your pre-wiring, which determines things like your height, your skin color, your eyes, your color of your hair, etc. And then I spoke about external influences, right? So you choosing one side of this debate of nature versus nurture is neither here nor there. I even made practical example. I say take a child that may have a potential for a genetic potential for high intelligence. For whatever reason, maybe their father is Einstein, their mother is Katherine Johnson, for example, or Stephen Hawking, whatever the case may be. But if their environment does not enable them to be able to express that, then they will not reach their full potential. I made an example of Ipara, who's an influencer in South Africa, who speaks very well and eloquently, clearly has a potential for high intelligence, but he came up in an environment that did not enable him to. So I do not understand the points that you are making here. You spoke about genealogy, this is my blood, da, 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 da. I told you, when I was ending off, I said that we are born with a genetic blueprint, all of us, that constantly changes and is expressed and modified by the world around us, which means our environment. That's the nurture part of the argument. And I specifically said that here we're not denying that we have a shared ancestry or African ancestry. That's not the argument we were having here, you know. In fact, I even said the argument that I'm making is that DNA should not be a blueprint for political borders. You are saying we need to unite with people because we share an ancestry. Let me tell you something. Borders are reasonable. Okay? The reason they are reasonable is because they are tools of administration. They define who is responsible for tax, for service delivery, for law enforcement. By the way, in order to have the law, you need a jurisdiction. You know, without borders, who do you hold accountable? Who do you hold accountable, man? Like, your argument makes no sense. You know, it shows that you are not thinking. In fact, in Xhosa would say you are sour. But my point is this, though. We need to keep borders between concepts. We need to keep borders between people, between political ideas, between towns, between states, because we want order, you know. And people who are advocating for a borderless country or no borders are people who either want undifferentiated chaos or they are too foolish to realize that that will be the consequence. Okay, so it's not about DNA. To reduce this argument to something as mild and absurd as ancestry, therefore we should all band together, is completely ridiculous. Europeans share the same DNA. Asians share the same DNA. If we went by your logic, the entire world would be like one or two countries. The thing of borders is so ancient. You spoke about Charles Darwin and his theory, what pangenesis, all that nonsense. You are not making any points. Let me tell you how old borders are. since the times of Adam and Eve. Okay, because I feel like that's the point, that's where we're going. And how do we know they are this old? Because when God created the Garden of Eden, he divided it by 4 rivers, a border. You know, even after expelling Adam and Eve from the garden, do you know what he did? He placed a cherubim and a flaming sword to guard the entrance so that they do not come back into the garden and eat from the tree of life. That's a border. So when you're speaking about genetics, and then I'm telling you, even the creator of genetics, you know, Umdali, believes in borders. He finds great utility for them. When are you arguing that because we don't share the same DNA, we are not, and then you speak about 400 years of, anyway, I'll park it there. Thanks.
Right. Thanks, Yiba, for respecting your time. BK Elite, your 5 minutes start now.
All right. Okay. So thank you, brother. In reality, you need to read the prompt. We are not talking about borders. We are not talking about any of that. We are talking about, does your nationality shape who you are? Do genetics shape who you are? If you want to talk about borders and things like that, we can do so. Right now, you need to be explaining to me how your nationality would be able to go inside of your genealogy and change it. Don't tell us about whoever came from whichever country or those kind of things. That's not the conversation right now. The conversation shouldn't be,
Sorry to interrupt, but Kanakanda, that's why I asked the question
No,
initially.
whoa, my brother, don't do
Wait,
that.
gentlemen,
You see, it's getting emotional.
gentlemen. I will reward you your time. I will reward you your time, BK. Right now, Yiba, the debate is set in the way that I said it is going to be set. He will have his 5 minutes uninterrupted in the same way that you had yours. The only time that you guys will be able to retain your time is in the next 10 minutes, where you will then be able to ask questions to each other and then have responses back and forth. And if you want to retain your time back because you feel that the speaker is going off topic, you will then be able to do that. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to restart your time at BK, and then you will restart your submission.
Thank you, brother. I understand why it's getting so difficult, because the brother could realize now that I am not the one who walked in the trap, but it is he who walked into the trap. So he needs to explain to me how your nationality is going to influence you genetically. He shouldn't be telling me about what the borders did, when border. He's telling me about Adam and Eve. I have a man here who's telling me about Adam and Eve. And now we're going to have to ask certain questions. Does Adam have an umbilical cord? Or did he have one? Does he have a belly button? Did he drink breast milk? So now I have to go to these kinds of questions. This man is trying to make me waste my time. I am asking him how his genetics are influenced by the nationality that he's in. So then he went off to tell me about this. If I were to entertain this in our question and answering phase, it's going to be quite difficult for us. The reality is, it is genetics. It is the timeline that you've spent in a particular area and how you've adapted in that area that defines who you are. How you've adapted with or the relationship, the symbiotic relationship that you create with your experience, with everything that is around you. That's what makes who you are. And the reason why it makes who you are is because what is within you, indigenous means in the genes around us. So what is around you affects your genes. So the things that you consume within you would be able to affect the way your genes are being expressed. So if you take things that are foreign of you and foreign of your environment, right, they will be able to affect you negatively because they do not come from where you come from and you guys do not have a connection in that particular space. This is what the conversation is about. He needs to explain to me how his nationality is going to change that. And it can't change that. It's impossible to change that. Because now he's going to have to tell me, I don't even know what he can say at this point. And this is extremely disappointing because now it's showing us that he's not really ready for the conversation. I would like for him to explain to me how If I take an animal from here, if I take the protea and I take it to the desert, is it going to survive there? Due to the fact that it also has the environment that it needs to grow in, and the environment has created a space for him. He needs to explain to me how a polar bear can live in the ice and how it won't be able to survive in the desert as well. He needs to explain this to me because nationality is going to take us there. And then I'm going to ask him another question in our question and answering phase, which I hope he'll be able to address now. The thing here is, I want him to tell me what his nationality is. The reason why I was talking about the people that were in the past is because nationality will have you believe that people that are not in the same haplogroup as you are your brothers. It's going to this is the problem with ideology. Ideology will make you pick up different people's cultures and believe in things that aren't going to work for you and your person. So now you're picking up things from other people, and now the same people who have raped you, lynched you, castrated you, they are now going to be called your brother under this banner called nationality. However, if I say to you that your brother with the same bloodline as you, who has the same origin as you, you are going to sit here and say he's not your brother because of geographical location. So he needs to explain to us how that's a fact. Because if I were to ask him right now, if he takes a paternal test and they say the baby is his, is he going to keep the baby or is he going to say, I don't believe in genetics? That's what he needs to focus on. That's what he needs to talk about. So the reason why he asked his first question is because he was trying to see how he's going to worm himself out of this. But he does not understand that I'm not a zoo animal, my brother. You are a zoo animal. So this is the problem here. You get told and you consume information, and now you come in here trying to regurgitate this stuff to us like we don't know what we're talking about. Explain to us how your nationality is going to affect how your genes work. Tell us how nationality is going to affect Kraft versus Horst. That's what I want you to explain.
Brilliant. Okay. Let me just make sure that I give clarity on 2 points here. Point number one, I am more than happy for tongue-in-cheek comments, but ad hominems and direct insults to individuals will not be tolerated. And I say that to both of you, right? So I want us to make sure that we are clear on that as the first point. Point number two, we need to understand that as we are having this conversation as it relates to nationality, does it shape who you are, or do genetics shape who you are? If the conversation then goes into us discussing borders, it is relative to the topic. And also, if we're going to say, in light of genetics or in light of nationality, how then do we feel about colonizers? It also relates to the topic. Because at the end of the day, the end of the conversation should be, how should Africa or South Africa specifically be shaped in light of the discussion? So let us make sure that we understand that both points, as it relates to colonizers versus relating to borders, both of them are actually valid discussions in light of the conversation at large. The one thing, though, that I will not tolerate, gentlemen, is direct insults towards the other debater. Let us make sure that we keep that going, and let us make sure that we keep that level of respect. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give 10 minutes for a Q&A and a back and forth between the two of you. The rules have been set. You are able to understand them, and you know exactly what they are. So Yiba, you will have 10 minutes for you to ask questions to BK, and he will answer them. When your 10 minutes are done, BK will also have the same chance to ask you questions within his 10 minutes, and that is how we're going to run it. I hope everybody is in agreement. Thank you so much to everybody who is supporting the live. Let us make sure that we keep staying engaged. So, Breezy, your 10 minutes for your Q&A start now.
So the reason it was important that I asked what he wants to talk about was to avoid us speaking at cross purposes. That was the exact purpose. the topic is way too wide, and even in his submission, you can hear that he's all over the place, right? He's not just sticking to one part of it. That's the first part. I will get to him. The second part is, how have I not answered the question? Because in my initial submission, I said it's both. And when I said it's both, I even gave practical examples of why it's both. So I'm not sure you repeating the same thing over and over again after I've answered it at least 2 times makes any sense of logic. So you're asking me, how is nationality going to determine who I am, when I clearly said that, and I still say, it's a combination of both. The environment must be right, as well as you need to have certain genetics. I did not make the argument that because of where you come from, therefore it will determine who you are. But I said that it's important to be born in South Africa and not in Gabon, for example. That's the example I made. So you're repeating the same things and you're not listening to the responses. You're just wanting to spit out whatever it is that you put down on a piece of paper. That is literally all that you are doing. All your questions I've responded to. Let's see. So maybe you can unmute your mic and then you can you can tell me how genetics will determine who you are, as per the prompt says, because
All
you
right.
say, yeah.
Okay. How does genetics determine who you are? So the first thing here is we now need to get to the word of identity. And the word identity emerges from the French, which is identité, and which emerges from Latin, right? So it then, the etymology of the word is I, them, meaning the same. This is identity. But also, there's something called space cells. There's something called glial cells.
How does all of that
Wait,
determine who you are? Please,
wait,
please answer the question.
wait. That does determine who you are because number one, I said your experiences determine how you behave. What you consume determines how you behave. What you see determines how you behave.
So,
There's a
so
contact.
that's your environment, not your
Wait, brother,
DNA. That is your
brother,
environment,
my brother, relax.
not your DNA.
Sorry, gentlemen. Sorry, gentlemen. It is Yabrizi's time. If he wants to pause so that he clarifies this question, it is his time to do so. You can go ahead, Yabrizi.
Exactly. So when I explain what the environment is, it's all those things that are a result of, or after the fact, after you've been born. So after, it's all the external influences after conception. And I mentioned, such as your upbringing. These are the things you are mentioning here. I mentioned your family. I mentioned your culture. I mentioned education, your life experiences. All those things influence your beliefs and your behaviors and your values. So the question still remains, what is it about genetics that will shape who you are? And do not tell me, we said it's nature versus nurture. We agreed on that part. And we defined nature as genetics and nurture as your environment, your upbringing, your surrounding. So please respond to the question.
No problem. So now you're asking me how nature, because you've just said nature is genetics. No problem. So if I give a whitey person a white potato, they have 70% the ability to digest that potato. You do not have the ability to do so. If I give the whitey person,
Wait, you can't make ridiculous
I'm
statements
going
like
to tell
that.
you, oh my goodness.
And you're not answering the question, but you're
I
making
actually
ridiculous
am
statements.
responding because I'm trying to, you just not
Okay,
seeing.
wait. Let me answer the question again. Let me ask the question again.
Go ahead,
How does
brother.
genetics shape who you are?
All right. So I was explaining to you how your genes, if your predisposition to have certain things being put inside of your body, it's going to determine if you're going to get said disease or not. Do you understand, brother?
So,
So
so the
if you
environment needs to be right in order for that predisposition to be realized. Is that what you're saying?
I'm trying to tell you that the environment and the person has a symbiotic relationship. This is the reason why I said epigenetics is a real
So
thing.
you agree with my opening remarks then that it's actually
No,
both, that
the
it's your
reality is
environment as
this.
well as your genetics.
The reality is this, is that your opening remarks are agreeing to me. Nationality means
How can I
several
agree to you if
ways.
I made the opening remarks?
The reason why I'm going to say this is because, unfortunately, your nationality comes from things like tradition, language, etc., etc. When we talk about genetics, we mean in the genes around us. This is the reason why you also put in nature as part of the things that are going to influence your genetics. This is the reason why I'm bringing
Nature
up the
doesn't.
weight. I'm still answering, brother. This is the reason why I'm bringing up things that are in the natural world that affect how your genes will work. That's why I said to you, the things that you're going to take in affect the way that your genes will respond. So if you're taking something that is not indigenous to the African soil, it's not going to respond to you properly. This is
BK, sorry, it's still my time. You are not answering
okay.
the question. You are doing hula hoops, and you. In fact, the point that you are making is you are saying, well, the environment needs to be right in order for the genetic predisposition to be realized, which was all the things I said in my opening remarks. When you are making the argument that genetics shape who you are, and I'm telling you that it's both, and I even gave plenty of examples why it's both. You know, let me ask you this: you are an African or whatever you are. If you were to move to Greenland, right, and go live in Greenland where it's colder, snow throughout the year, etc., in about 5 to 6 generations, what would your offspring look like?
Well, it depends on the experiences that I have, but based on the law of adaptation, over time, I will be changing in certain features due to my geography.
Exactly, right? But then your argument is that genetics shape who you are. But over time, genetics can change. Your offspring might start to look like Kanyimbao, for example. That's the point I said when that's the point I was making when I said we're the genetic blueprint which is constantly being edited and is changing. So when you have no basis to make the argument that it's genetics that shape who you are, when it's clearly the combination of both. And I don't even know why we're arguing this because the data on this is very clear. Like modern science has gone at great lengths to put this argument to rest. It's neither here nor there. There's nothing suspicious about it. Let me give you another example. I made an example about like Umdu Elokshini, who's very bright, but the environment did not enable them in order to be successful, despite their predisposition to high intelligence, for example. I'll give you another example of Ubongani Fasi. This is someone who basically his mom was a rock star of her time, selling out stadiums, like no one was beating her on the charts, multimillionaire touring, having presidents around her, politicians, business people, influential people. Ubongani Fasi grew up in an environment whereby it was ripe for him to succeed and be greater than his mom. Like he had that access, he had that exposure, but what in fact even his mom left him a fully paid off house and an estate with tens of millions. But what happened? He became an addict, right? He was in and out of rehab. In fact, his mom's legacy passed away with him and is buried there, Kwalang, as we speak, because what became of him is not what the glory that his mom was. It shows you someone having had the right environment, but when the genes do not allow it, you still won't make it. It's a combination of both. I'm not the one making the argument that genetics shape who you are or environment shapes who you are. I'm saying it's both. And I've given you examples of opposing sides to prove this point. But it's your time now. You
Yes,
can
sir.
go ahead.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for respecting your time, Breezy. BK Elite, my bro, you now have your 10 minutes to ask questions. Your time starts now.
All right, my brother. First things first. What culture are you from?
Do you mean my tribe?
Yes, sir.
NdingumXhosa.
Okay, no problem. Where do the Xhosa people come from?
Where do they come from? I
Yes,
can tell
sir.
you where I come from.
Okay, where do you come from?
Eastern Cape.
No problem. What is your culture?
You're asking the same question twice now.
No, sir. Where do you come from versus what your culture is not the same question.
No, the first question you asked, I told you I'm Xhosa, did I not?
Yes, but your culture, no, you see, man, your culture will tell us about your traditions, about your principles, about your values, about how you see life, and also the things that you were busy doing during X amount of time. So I need you to
So
tell
my
me the Xhosa
culture,
people, what culture do they have?
they have the Xhosa culture, but the Xhosa culture has nothing to do with genetics.
No, guess what? The Xhosa culture does not have anything to do with genetics, but it has a lot to do with nationality. So, and we're about to go into
Uthini,
this little
bra?
conversation.
Uthini?
Wait, this is still my time, brother. So you need to sit down. Don't have a
Okay.
nappy rash on my time. Thank you.
Yeah, I will sit
Thank
down.
you. Mute.
It's not a dialogue.
Okay, but
I mean, it's
now,
not a monologue.
oh, okay, no problem. So, where is your language? Tell me about your language. Without using alphanumericals, can you tell me where you find the inception of your language?
Where I find it.
Yes, without alphanumericals, how do you define your language? How do you show us proof of your language as a Xhosa person?
By
Oh,
speaking it.
by speaking it.
Yes.
Okay, so how are you passing down those ideas from one person to another?
Just like most tribes, it's verbal.
Okay, so
African
you're not.
tradition is passed down verbally from generation to generation.
Okay,
We
perfect.
never wrote things down like Europeans did.
Okay, we never wrote things down like Europeans did. Okay, no problem. Now let's move on to the next question because I'm actually building a
Okay,
case here. You'll get to
Sorry,
where
sorry.
I'm going. You'll
I
see to
really
where
want
I'm
us to
going.
move on, but what was the
No, no,
purpose
no,
of
no,
the
wait,
first line
wait,
of
wait, wait.
questioning?
Sorry, Yiba. It is his time.
Oh, sorry,
Allow him
sorry.
to ask the questions as he sees fit. BK, it is your time. You will be able to reclaim it, and it is all yours. Yiba cannot interrupt you. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I understand that the brother is feeling it now, so it's a bit difficult. Now, my brother, tell me, what are space cells? Brother Iba, what are space cells? Space cells.
Can you tell me what it is?
Oh my God. Okay. So this is the reason why the conversation is going to be difficult to have with you because you are actually not in my league. Because wait, you're actually not in my
Ad
league.
hominems, ad hominems, ad
All right,
hominems.
all right. I'll respect that,
I
host.
was very clear on ad hominems.
I'll respect that. But that one slipped out. I apologize. So every image that you take, every image that you experience creates a space cell. Yeah. So there's something called cellular memory phenomena in which the cells will be able to accept all of the information that is getting from the environment. Then my next question is going to be this. Do you know what time cells are? Your reference on time. Do you know where you're getting that?
Where am I getting it? Because I feel
Yes,
like
sir.
you're about to tell me.
Okay, cool. So there's also something called time cells, right? And which affect the way that you experience time. So sometimes you may sit in maybe a classroom and it may feel like it's so boring to be in here. And then time feels slower. But then you'd be more captivated in an experience that excites you and the time goes faster and you ask yourself, how did I get here?
You lose sense
So
of time.
wait, that's your sense of time. And this is relative. This phenomenon is called cellular memory phenomena. But this is created by your genetics. So now I'm going to show you this. Are you aware of a process called graft versus host?
How is it relevant to what we're talking about?
Because graft versus host is when, if I were to do a heart transplant on you today and I were to put it inside of YIBA's heart, your blood is either going to accept this and it's either going to attack this. You understand? So you need to know something called graft versus host. So now this shows you that your genes will determine what either comes inside of you and what's going to sit inside of you, and if it's even going to accept this thing that you're putting inside of you. So
Yeah.
now we are seeing that you're unaware of this. Okay, cool. No
No,
problem.
I know it. Like even
So
for
you
blood
know it.
transplant, you need to have the same blood type to
Exactly.
but I'm
No
trying to
problem.
understand where you're
Continue.
going.
Wait. I'm asking you questions. You don't know the answer. Then I have to explain certain things. Now you're asking me where I'm going. Of course, you don't know where I'm going, brother. So let me finish. My thing here is this. Are you aware that when we put in a person's heart in another person, that person ends up having dreams and having personal experiences, and they end up feeling as if though they share characteristics and personality trait with the person whose heart they've just put inside of their body? Are you aware of this phenomenon?
That I do not that has not been proven scientifically because dreams themselves, there's a lot of in terms of the research around dreams and hallucination and things like that. There's no scientific evidence for what you are saying.
There's
The
no
research
scientific.
the research around that is very much not clear.
The research around that is very much not clear. Are you willing
Exactly.
to stand on that?
Well, I'm
Okay,
sitting down
no
now, so
problem. Tell me, what's the nationality of the land?
what's the nationality of what?
Of the land.
Which land?
You are currently in Southern Africa. So what is the nationality of the land without us having any ideologies connected to it? What is the nationality of the land?
Which land?
My brother, you are in Southern Africa. You are on the African soil. So
So
tell
what's
me,
the
what is the
nationality of
nationality
the
of your
land?
land?
It's South African.
It's South African.
Yes, I'm on
Okay,
South African
cool.
soil under
Okay,
SA
cool.
jurisdiction, SA
Okay.
laws.
Okay, cool. So before it was called Africa, what was it called? Let's say maybe we were to take that back time to what 100,000 years ago. You were existing at this point. Why? Because there are genetic remains of your ancestry in the form of Australopithecus, Prometheus, etc., etc. These things have existed long before the concept and the understanding of the nationality that you now subscribe to was created. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm asking you, at that point, what was the land's nationality? Can you answer that, please?
You see, you are confusing when you say nationality. What you mean to ask, what was it called? The name, not
Okay.
nationality. So what was the name of Africa before it was
Okay.
called Africa? Is that what you're asking?
All right. No, I just wanted to see something. Because you're saying people can have a nationality, isn't it? And now I'm going to have to ask you this, and this is ultimately going to show us who this brother is. If I take a Chinese person, if I take two Africans and they copulate, they have intercourse in Africa, and they fly to China, are those children African or are those children Chinese?
If you have two Chinese who have a baby in Africa and then
No,
go
if you
back to
have two
China,
Africans who copulate in Africa and give birth to those children in China, what is that place called now?
that place is called China where they are, where they gave
And
birth.
and what are those people called? Are those people African?
Yes, those people are African.
Those people are African. All right, cool. So here's the thing. Nationality will have us believe that those people are not African.
I just told you they are.
But nationality will have us believe that those people are not African. Do you
I just
understand what
told
I'm
you they
saying?
are.
Okay.
Where do you get that from?
Listen, because nationality is going to say that these people are of Chinese nationality. That's what it's going to say, that they belong in this area. That's what it's going to say. If I fly to Britain right now and I get citizenship there, they're going to say that I am a British national.
All right,
What?
BK, please do land. The time is up. So what I'm gonna do is this. Since BK, you are already on the roll, I'm gonna flip it this time. So BK, you have 3 minutes for your closing submission, and in these 3 minutes, you have the chance to make your final statement, and the same time will be given to Uyabrizi, right? So I'm going to do it that way. After you guys have both given your closing submissions, only then am I going to accept people in the panel that are going to come up to ask you guys questions. Please be aware that I will only bring up 4 people at a time so that each person that is coming up for questions has ample time to discuss without people waiting too long. So, BK, your 3 minutes for your closing statement. You're not asking questions, you are giving your closing statement. Your time starts now, uninterrupted. You can
All right,
go.
please expand me if you can. So the reality is this, is that your geographic location doesn't determine who you actually are. It is your bloodline that determines who you are. I just showed on the prompt right now, you're going to see that personality changes follow a heart transplant and the role of cellular memory. This is an actual paper. So even the things that you experience would be able to affect the ultimate experience that you're going to have with your DNA. What if you put somebody else's DNA or something inside of your body that's not supposed to be in that environment, it affects your DNA. Anything that is not supposed to be made and curated in that particular biome is not going to be for your DNA, and therefore it works against you to be in that particular area. I asked this brother to answer if a polar bear would be able to live in a place that it's not made for. Will it be able to live in the desert? Will it be able to survive that temperature? It wouldn't be able to survive the temperature because the environment is and the species has a particular relationship. They work together. So him saying that he agrees with me ultimately is him saying that he agrees with the fact that genetics is more important than your nationality. Your nationality creates creates an ultimate identity with people that you have the same common unity with. So unfortunately, the brother wanted to move up, down, left, and right, but he cannot fight the fact that everybody is related via blood and everybody is related via genetics. For an example, you as a Xhosa person, the reason why I asked you that is because you as a Xhosa person are also a foreigner in the place that you call South Africa. Because your origin, we find that it's in East Africa. You as a Xhosa person belong in the haplogroup E1B1A, EM2, EV38. So it shows us that you, in the inception, your whole being comes from Eastern Africa, because that's where you'll find your Y-DNA tells us you find your inception from. So you cannot even say that you are South African. You are a foreigner to the land. So your area where you found your inception is contradicting your ideology. And you are trying to say the quote unquote creator made a mistake by adding you in that particular area because you believe in another ideology that comes from another people. And this is the problem with ideology. So I'm going to land here for now because I have 19 seconds left and I won't be able to ramble through all of the information. So hopefully the people who are going to come up are going to have better questions than what the brother had asked me today.
Brilliant. All right. Before Yebrizi comes in, we'll be very clear. When he is done with his 3 minutes, I will be accepting 4 people onto the panel. If you are a moderator on the live, please do not accept anyone. I will do all of the accepting, the dropping, and the muting. So please allow me to run it today because it is a debate and not an open live panel. Yabrizi, your 3 minutes for a closing statement start now.
I actually just looked up that article. It's from, in fact, when you click on it, it says an official website of the United States government, and I do not find any other credible researchers or institutions which corroborate this thing. The article that he has up on screen. So that's the first point I'll make on that. Secondly, I was not following your submission and your train of argument. And I think now I am vindicated by asking my initial question is that do you want to talk about epigenetics and genetics, or do you want to talk about immigration? Right. And it was very important because I did not want us to speak at cross purposes. You were rambling, making no sense whatsoever. Do I know what space cells are? Do you know what time cells are? Do you know if you take someone's heart and put in someone's heart, you have that person's memories? What does that have to do with the topic? You yourself did not even make an argument for genetics shaping who you are. You did not. At least I was honest enough and open enough to say it's both of them. And I gave examples of both sides of the coin. You literally wasted my time, BK Elite. I think you just wanted to come and spit back things that you researched and you learned. You do not speak to the topic. Nothing that you said here in your submission was engaging in any way. You did not take or you did not draw specific knowledge and information from your own learning and synthesize it in a way which is engaging and interesting. I can put someone else in that box that you are in that knows the exact same things about you. I mean, about the things that you know about genetics and epigenetics, because there's nothing about you came out in what you were saying. So in conclusion, I will make my points to say, had I known this was going to be just about genetics and epigenetics and going around in circles, that's what I would have stuck to. I thought he was going to make the case for open borders and illegal immigration. But with that being said, I think I made a better point because I actually highlighted how both of these shape who you are, not just one. You could not answer one question, that how do genetics shape who you are. So please go read some more. Please go learn some more. I know you think you know something about genetics, and I've not thrown any insults. Do not think that I'm insulting you. And then, and come back and research some more and look at things holistically, not just from one perspective, from the lens of space cells, time cells. All those things had nothing to do with the prompt. You wasted your 10 minutes and everyone's time.
Your time is up, you're breezy. Your time is up, you're breezy. All right, guys, that concludes the actual formal debate between the two counterparts. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to bring up people who have made requests in the comment section. And please, as I bring you up, make sure that your mic is muted. And as I do bring you up, you will have a chance to speak. All of the people that are going to be coming up will have 3 minutes each to ask their questions. And I'm going to be very specific on this. I want it to be questions that are asked. Yes, it is good for you to react to the conversation that you did listen to, but it is also important that at the end of it, at the end of your submission, within the 3 minutes, there is a question that you are asking to the people that are on the panel. It's not just an attack or to make statements at the debaters. So I'm going to start with you, Pitch. Your 3 minutes start now. You can tell us how you saw the debate, or you can go directly into the question that you want to ask to either one of the panelists.
Oh yeah. Good evening, everybody. I'm gonna lean towards BK Elite. I think he had he had very good arguments, and he had very good arguments because I have a question for is it YIBAv? Yeah, I have a question for YIBAv. Just give me a second. Let me open my camera. And it's about the genetics topic. Just give me a second. Bear with me. Come on. Movie sells sometimes. Anyway, if I may have the big screen. And this is part of my question. Okay. Psychopathy, right? Psychopathy in of itself is genetic. If you can see, the psychopathy is genetic. So I don't know why. And this is my question to YIBAv, right? The first question I have to him, right? Do you see something as neurodivergent as psychopathy, ADHD, and or autism? Do you see it as it being genetic? Yiba, I propose the question to you.
Do I see?
Do you see neurodivergent neurodivergencies such as psychopathy and ADHD as genetic?
Yes, some people. Yes, yes. The short answer is yes.
So, okay, wouldn't that then mean that genetics do entail or have a very strong influence on who you are?
Yes, yes, I do agree.
Okay, yeah, that's my questions. Thank you very much.
Sorry, if I can just qualify it, right? I made the argument that it's both genetics and your environment, hand in hand. And I made the point that it's been proven very clearly you can have very strong genetics, but if you are in a hopeless environment or in a war-torn country like Gaza, chances are, you will end up hopeless.
All right. Brilliant. I think excuse me. I think pitch is done. We'll go to 41.8. 41.8, you can go ahead and ask a question.
Yeah, not so much a question, more a statement. Yeah, I too am a connoisseur of cellular information, especially Excel spreadsheets, those type of cells.
Sorry, 418. We can't hear you.
Oh,
We
sorry,
can't hear
sorry.
you
Can
clearly.
you hear me now?
That's better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was saying I too am a connoisseur of cells, especially Excel spreadsheet kind of cells. But on a serious note, like I think we have an oversupply of pseudo intellectuals that think that they can come and profess things without being experts in those fields. Because I can guarantee you now, BK is not a scientist by no means, else he would not have come here and state a hypothesis. I cannot that was the cherry on the cake for me, was coming here and using a hypothesis and using it to try and prove facts. Easy breezy, if you had not won it before, I think at that point BK had lost all credibility. So yeah, well done, man. Super proud of the Patriots. The Patriots are really keeping it up. Yeah, cool, man. Thanks for hosting, Gunna. Really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you,
Is it
41. I
possible for
will
me
be
to
dropping
engage,
you.
brother?
I will be. Oh, no. It's okay. You'll have your time to respond. I'm going
Okay,
to be
cool.
dropping 41.8 and making space. But BK Elite, it is your time to respond to what you heard being asked by 41.8. You can go
All
ahead.
right, cool. Unfortunately, the person that you brought up here to say these things and to say, I brought up a theory. Yes, every single thing that he's brought up right now, even the brother Yiba brought up a scientific theory from Francis Galton. And Francis Galton is the brother of Charles Darwin, who came up with the evolutionary theory. And we need to look at the word especially when we're dealing with science. We have to talk about experimentation, and the experimentation of pangenesis is also part of this whole little myth that has been created. So my thing here is he brought pangenesis up to me, and then then comes up here and tells us I brought forth a particular theory, but pangenesis is a theory too, and it was also debunked as well. So for him to come up and to say, you know what, I deal with Excel, it just shows me that his numbers aren't adding right. Because regardless on if you believe if I'm a scientist or not, his genetics do not belong here on this soil. And I am showing why it doesn't in the explanations that I'm giving you. The brother just couldn't understand what it is that I'm saying. Because when I'm saying space cells, time cells, these kind of things, I am showing you parts of your genes that respond in a particular way, in a particular environment. The next question was going to be, if all of the information that were experienced during the time with people who have genes, foreign genes from people like the brother here, will this person behave in this particular way? That's the case that I was actually getting to. This is the reason why I brought up an actual experience that somebody had with Kraft versus Horst. So I'm trying to show him that every single time you put something that is foreign in your body, it will allow you to respond in an adverse way. Now, the adverse DNA inside of a person via maybe graping or whatever the case may be will also be able to make a person experience something as well. And my point here was this: if now you guys have come here and shared your DNA with other people's, will they be able to experience the same thing, i.e., attacking everyone, if they were in the same conditions as you? Because part of their DNA, parts of their cells will be activated. And that is a DNA expression. That's where I was getting with that.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you for responding to that, BK Elite. We'll go to Gospel Impact. Gospel, my bro, your 3 minutes start now.
Yeah, no, sure, Kandam Fetu. A beautiful platform that you are having here. Okay, gents, well done, man. You know,
My brother, is it possible for you to speak a bit louder?
oh yeah. Can you hear me?
Oh no, you're clear now. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm saying it's a beautiful platform that you are having here, and I just wanna say well done to the gents. You know, with such debate, we also learn, you know, as the audience, as information is being shared here, you know. And I feel like 418 was just being biased with his comment to BK. I don't think such information has anything to do with you being a scientist and stuff like that. So I think he's just being biased to receive the support of the so-called patriots. But that is fine. I don't really have much questions because I agree with both. I am of the belief that nationality and genetics do shape who you are. However, with regard to this debate, I will say that, you know, BK Elite came very strong in his submission. He came very strong. I think he was well prepared. And with YIBav, I feel like he wasn't that much prepared. Also, the fact that he couldn't answer most of BK's questions, to me, that shows that he wasn't prepared at all. So I will say that for me, BK won this debate, no doubt about it. And BK, man, congratulations, you won it. Thank you, host. Yeah.
Brilliant. Breezy, you'll have your time to respond to that. You can go ahead and respond. Thanks, Gospel Impact. I'll now be bringing on someone else. Breezy, you can respond, bro.
Thanks. You know what's funny is that people were not listening to the content of the debate. People did not read what the prompt was and just wanted to regurgitate whatever things that they know about genetics and epigenetics. Me knowing time cells has nothing to do with what we're talking about. You know, like, you know, when you've had a good day at work, you feel like what that actually means is that you lost sense of time because you were being productive. That has not. All human beings are like that now and again. When I was in grade 3, like I would literally sit there in class, like watching the clock go, pa, pa, ta, ta, waiting for a lunch break, and then after a break, waiting for home time. Like, what does that have to do with the topic? Did people read the prompt? Were his questions relevant? Please, man, Gospel Impact, like you can be honest in your assessment without being, you can be objective and honest. There's nothing that BK said which spoke to the prompt. And when I thought he was going to take it to the immigration side, I realized he just wants to talk about genetics. I brought it back to him, and he failed to answer my questions and to prove that genetics actually shape who you are. But instead, he wanted to lecture us about what genetics and epigenetics is.
All right. Now, thank you very much. Just Kings, you can go ahead, my bro.
Thanks. Wasn't Hannibal
Oh,
first?
yes. I'll come to. Oh, yes. Hannibal was here first. Thanks for that. Hannibal, you can go ahead, my bro. My bad.
Thank you.
Hannibal, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much. BK, just some quick questions. You said you believe that genetics shapes who you are. Besides your melanin, what distinct genetic features do we not have, or do white people not have that we have, besides your melanin?
Even though melanin does.
No, I know. I'm just saying, besides melanin, what genetic features do white people and black people don't share
Okay,
besides melanin?
no problem. If you give a Caucasian person and you
No, no,
feed
no,
them,
no. I'm not talking
wait,
about potatoes. Please just answer the question.
wait,
Besides
but
your
that's part of the
melanin.
answer because the environment that
Okay.
you're in has a particular food that's made for you, and those foods speak to you. And if I were to give a Caucasian person certain foods, they would not respond to him well. So if I give a plant-based animal and I give them meat, they will not
No, no, no.
respond
We're not
well.
talking about
Wait,
cows and stuff. We're talking
wait.
about humans.
We
I'm
are talking
asking,
about humans. And the
besides,
reason,
wait, okay, let me put it like this, right?
okay,
Where did all life begin?
again,
Yes.
according to the Out of Africa theory, the black woman is God. So therefore,
Okay.
all
So
life
all life
began on
began
the
in
African
Africa.
soil.
Cool.
Yes.
So all life began in Africa, and therefore, white people are born of African people. Yes.
No. I will
So
say
where did
that,
they come from?
wait. I will say that they do have an ancient ancestor that does stem from the African soil.
Oh,
But wait,
thank you.
listen,
Thank you.
listen,
So then
listen, let
there's
me
a
finish.
genetic
Let
makeup.
me
Wait,
finish.
wait.
Let me finish.
But it's my
But
time. It's my time. So
No,
there's a
it's
but
genetic
I need
sorry,
to
makeup.
also
BK
allow.
Elite, BK Elite, BK Elite. It is his time. Once he is done, then if there's anything you need to correct, you can. But if he's asking a question, he is more than entitled to expand on his question. Go ahead,
Okay.
Hannibal.
Thank you. Well, I get like 30 more seconds because it was gone. So I'm not talking about climatation, right? I'm talking about
Nice.
genetics.
Yes.
So climatation is what changes you based off your whereabouts. I'm talking about genetics. So there's a genetic makeup that we share with white people besides your melanin. It's all genetics that we share. All right. Now you were speaking. Okay, let me go here now. Let's leave that one. Do you believe that nationality is a social construct?
Yes.
So a social construct teaches you what? Teaches you how to behave, how to greet, how to speak, culture, religion, etc. Right?
Yes.
So doesn't the social makeup define who you are more than basically your genes in this point? Because we have both agreed that genetics, we share the same genetics as white people, besides your melanin.
Okay. There are differences. Most African people have dark eyes, and then we have white people who have multiple different types of
No,
eyes.
but you get people from the
Wait.
Congo who are black and they have blue eyes.
That is true. You do get them, but I'm being specific in this one. So I
No, but
need you to tell.
if you're
Wait.
studying genealogy and genetics, you can't be specific to certain cases. You need to be. Ah, shit, my time's up.
Okay. Thank you, brother. Am I allowed to respond to this, brother, while we're here?
Since you guys are having a back and forth, I'll give you guys 3 minutes to continue.
Okay. Thank you, brother. So the first point that I was trying to make is that, yes, an ancient ancestor from the African soil did migrate to Europe. But what then happens is that these people that
More
we
time.
now, oh my God.
No, sorry, I didn't say I had more time.
No. Yes, I've added time so that you guys can continue engaging. BK Elite, you can respond.
Okay, thank you so much. So, what we then find is that the the quote unquote migrant or the person that moved from Africa to Europe had intercourse with the Neanderthal. And now it means that they no longer have the same genetics as us. That's no longer the same person. Their offspring are no longer the same person.
But but
Wait,
but
wait.
but wait, Uncle, I'm
So,
trying to understand where you're coming from, Para PK. Uncle, we're engaging. So, if all life began in Africa,
yes,
right? And then, so you're saying there was a place where different life began, which was white people. But when we do study genetics, because there's a difference between genetics and genealogy, right? Genealogy, as you explained, is more like itagazelo, right? And then genetics is the makeup of your body, how your DNA, your cells, everything comes about to create you as a human being, right? That's genetics. So how now we and white people share the same genetics studied in biology? This has been proven already. The only difference between us and white people is your melanin. So already we all have the same gene structures except that one, your melanin. So are you saying that your melanin is the only indicator that changes who you are?
Okay, no, that's not what I'm saying. That's not the point that
BK,
I'm making.
BK, you can respond after we are
Okay.
done with this. I'm going to move. I'm going to move Hannibal on to go to other speakers. You can respond.
All right, thank you. As I said, your eyes, how tall you are, how short you are versus somebody else, etc., etc. All of these things define your genetics. But we've also find that there are certain people who have a particular kind of expression in terms of their hair, etc., etc. So we
Yeah,
weight, weight.
but you get short white people, you
No,
get
no, no.
short black
Hannibal,
people.
Hannibal,
Sorry,
Hannibal.
sorry.
Allow him to finish.
It's difficult because I understand that he also wants to debate me too. Maybe next time. So now, my thing here is this: is that I've just showed you differences that African people have with white people. And I've showed when I was trying to express to you how now even the food plays a major role into this, you did not want to listen. But that particular white person that evolved from that particular area had his own experience, and his experience was telling us that his environment was feeding the way that he experiences himself. So what does this mean? So the things that he had available in Europe due to epigenetics, due to the fact that your environment works hand in hand with you, the things that he was consuming were not only just changing his experience, meaning his genetic experience, but the things that he had inside of him at that point in time were he had a predisposition for them. So now, if I take that same African person and I give him the things that a white person was supposed to take, he will definitely become sick. So there are certain animals and also therefore humans that when you give them particular things that are in a certain area, it will make them either healthy or it will make them either sick. That's why the question that I asked Yiba is, if I take a protea plant and I take it to the desert, is it going to survive? The answer is no. Why? Because the environment that the protea is under is created specifically for it, even down to its minerals. So it would not be able to survive in that particular area. What determines that? The genetics.
Brilliant. All right. Thank you very much, BK Elite, for sticking to your time. Just Kings, your 3 minutes start now, bro.
So now when we look into this topic, you are or do genetics shape who you are? I was trying to listen to this thing and trying to understand where are we really going with this thing. And I heard you talking about who like where you are from or where you're from in the world. Does it actually shape? Can you actually look at the DNA and all of that and make your deduction? So what I would say is that when it comes to the rest of Africans, I'm trying to bring it back and have a different perspective. When it comes to different Africans, you have just, since you guys are Pan-Africanists and you always talk about people are the same and all those type of things, I will say that you've just proven tonight that you do understand that people are of a certain place. You're trying to make a situation whereby maybe you're trying to show that white people maybe they are from somewhere, or you might not have been making that, but you were sounding like that your DNA has a way of showing that you are from this place, and all of that. So that will say that even people from different places within Africa are from those places, and they are entitled to those places, and their DNA is of those places. So Nigerians are Nigerians, Kenyans are Kenyans, whatever. Central Africans are from Central Africa, Congolese are from Congo, Zimbabweans, and all of that. You just made that point tonight, Mr. BK. I don't know if you heard yourself. So for me, I'll say that genetics, they show that you are from where you are, as you are saying. But I'll also say that when it comes to nationality, shaping who you are, it's not a thing of what, it's a thing of legal practices, it's a thing of the law of the country and all of that. But I just want you to answer me that part. Do you agree with what I just said about this thing that you are saying also applying in different African countries?
All right.
Thank you.
No, I do not, my brother, because if we were to check Nigerians, they have a haplogroup of E1B1A, and haplogroup means genetic marker. Genetic marker means it's the marker that explains where you're from, or where your lineage comes from, or where your ancestry comes from. You understand? So Nigerians fall under something called E1B1A, EM2, which is the subclade, and then it's EV38. So now, if we were to take it to other people from the other African source, as I said, the Xhosa people, they also have E1B1A blood. So people mustn't get it confused, because I know the moment I start talking like this, oh my God, BK, you're talking like... No, E1B1A just means this is the symbol for those particular people that we now call the Bantus. E1B1A equals Bantu. So now we find that the Nigerians have it, we find that the East Africans have it, we find that the South Africans have it. Most of the Nguni people, they have it as well. But the ancestor that was prior to them is A00, and which is now where even our American brothers that are there in the diaspora, they also have A00, as in the case of a brother called Albert Perry. Albert Perry has A00 blood in him, and then we also find excavations called the Shumlaka excavations, which show that the people in Cameroon also had A00 in terms of their genetic haplogroup. So this means that birds of a feather flock together. Therefore, Adam Perry and this person that we've excavated from Cameroon share the same blood. And now it means that they come from the same origin. And there's no denying that those people that are in the diaspora are African, ultimately. And we have to create an environment that works for their particular genealogy. So the people that are here in SA and West Africa, Ghana, all of those people, they also have E1B1A. Others have A00. A00 is the ancestor of that. So ultimately, the African soil is united by genetics. It is united by genetics. We all come from the same ancestor. And the YT person, meaning your 41A, does not come from the African people. They mixed in with Neanderthals. So they're like calling us monkeys, but they're the ones who actually have the monkey blood in them. And they are the only people in the world who had that experience.
Your time, BK. I'm going to key.n. Key N, you can come in. Your 3 minutes starts now.
Hi, host. Thank you very much. I'd like to just start with a short comment where I say I think this debate was a bit flawed, host, because we can't afford to have a panelist take middle ground when we clearly have two motions that say nationality shape who you are or genetics shape who you are. So when one takes middle ground, then they limit or they constrain the other speaker. But anyways, I'll also want to add on to saying society speaks to us, right? After biology has already spoken, And by nationality, I would have expected at least a definition of what nationality is, and you defining that it's people's belonging to a certain area by culture, by language, you understand? And with that being said, and I would say that is YIBAV's stance, because the middle ground is really not a fair debate. So I'd want to ask you this, YIBAV. Do you think you are YIBAV before you are South African, or do you think you're South African before you are YIBAV?
I
Breezy.
am me before I am South African. I am an individual first before I am South African.
Exactly. You are your biology, you are your genetics before you are a nationality. That's what you are telling us today. Breezy.
Oh, was that a mic drop moment?
No. I'm saying, follow me. Is that a yes?
Can you repeat? Are you asking the same question? Am I myself
So I'm
before?
saying you're telling us that you are your biology. You are your genetic makeup before you are South African.
Of course.
Correct. Thank you very much. Again, if you happen to pass away in a country where you were not born, how would they identify you and link you back to your family?
If I were to put by my ID or passport,
Let's say it takes time.
how is the
Your ID
answer
works on your
DNA?
corpse. Let's
No,
say you're
it might
buried, you're gone. How would they find you? How would they know this is you? You've decayed.
DNA.
Correct. You remain you before you are South African. So would you agree that your genetics make you who you are more than your nationality does?
No, I would not agree.
Okay. Thank you, host. I have 15 seconds left.
Okay, Breezy, can you tell us why you disagree then?
Okay, cool. And also respond to a prompt. So I was not taking the middle ground because the science proves that it's a combination of your environment. And Hannibal was so spot on when he said that your environment is a social construct where it teaches you how to behave, it teaches you culture, it teaches you many other things. You can take, do you know why today we have certain people we call coconuts? It's because that the argument you are making is not completely true. And two things can be true at the same time. Remember, I thought UBK is wanting to drive the argument towards an immigration thing, which now he's doing in the end, but during the debate he was not. Now, I can't say here that genetics determines who you are when it clearly doesn't. You can take, I mean, who's that guy? Like, there's many examples that you can make whereby someone has certain DNA, certain genetics, but they grew up in an environment which was completely different from that environment. As a result, they do not behave in such a manner. You get what I'm saying? So it's not me taking the middle ground. It's actually me stating the actual fact. And also, BK was not even arguing on the prompt. He was not even speaking to what the prompt is saying. He was just telling us what genetics are, and we have these certain types of genes and all those things like that. There are white people who grew up in Pitori, in Eastern Cape, in Limpopo, in KZN, who speak fluent African languages. And they don't even, you would not even pass them as white once you hear them speak up until you see them. They're like, oh, okay, that's weird. That's because your environment also matters more than your DNA, not more than equally as your DNA. So just because I can be identified by my DNA, it's like saying I am my fingerprints now. So if I get lost somewhere, they can identify me by my fingerprints. Like, that's not an argument to make, my sister. I'm sorry, it was not a mic drop moment. You missed that one.
Cool. I'm gonna move on to Lovely. Lovely, you can come in, sis. Your 3 minutes start now.
How are you, debaters? I'm just hoping you will both respond to what I'm gonna say here. I understand that we do share DNAs with the chimpanzees. We do share DNAs with rats and even with some of the fruits. So I don't know if we can be wanting to hug them wherever we go, if that is the case. And I would like you to, to go into the. Okay, let me know to do the researches. I'll leave them aside anyway. I'll just talk. We do share genes, as I say, 98% with the chimpanzees, and we do share with rats as well. So are we gonna call ourselves that we are those animals? And if you look, nationality, for you to be a nation of a sort is who you link yourself to. If you say you are British, is the nation. It's not about where you were born. It's the country that you link yourself to, that you are like by nature of blood, and also by nature of whether you are born there, as in your generations before. And you can go back and say, what are the genes, genetic makeup? Genetic makeup, even if you go and take DNAs as well, you cannot link up to say, where are your roots? And all of us, whole world-wise, we share 99.9% of the genes. So we are all genetically intertwined. I know that BK like talking about the the genetic makeup, but you have to understand that that genetic makeup is talking about all the people who are intertwined, being it African, being it European, being it Indians or whoever they are. That is why you can find that all our genes, they are somewhere we will share 2% with others, you share 50% with others, you share 37%, whichever way you do share with other people. So we have to look into that and then understand that wherever we live will shape us. That is why it will make us who we are. Our genes are there, we are carrying them, but we are putting them in the fridge, like in the freezer. Because you can look at the thing of like when you are thinking of inflammation, you can, when a person dies, they will have, when a person get alive, they will have some form of
Please do
maggot.
land, my lady.
Okay, where do they get that from? But when they were alive, when they were working, they were not having that. So you can see that there are things that we harbor, or there are elements of us that will harbor themselves until they reach a good environment. So that environment will determine who they are.
All right. BK Elite, do you want to respond to that before we move to Ra?
All right, cool. My sister, I think let's start here. What is the definition of nationality? Sister Lovely. I don't know if she's here.
Hello?
My sister, what's the definition of nationality? Let's do quick because time.
Nationality is about the where you link yourself into, the place that you link yourself into, the group or the country that you link yourself into. That will determine yourself as a national of that place, and you can be a national of more than one place.
Okay, no problem. So, do you believe that if a YT person comes to the desert and they spend time in the sun, that they will not be able to get skin cancer?
They might.
They might. What does melanin do?
Protects you because you absorb the sun instead of that burning you.
So don't you think that if a person goes and lives life in a place that doesn't have the sun, would experience a better experience of life?
Why I said to you that species harbor themselves. You know, you
Perfect.
can put a rotten meat into the freezer. Those maggots won't live, but when you take them out, they will start living because they were harboring themselves.
Okay. So I don't know if I should continue to engage the lady, but what she's basically is trying to say here is this, is that YT people, because of the fact that they do not share the same genes and they're not indigenous to that particular place, they did not adapt to the point that they will be able to protect themselves from that sun that is in that particular area. Therefore, when they are there experiencing the sun, they then experience cancer. That's what happens to them. So there's no way to dispute that. And the reason why there's no way to dispute that is because it's in your genetics. So wouldn't it be better for the people that are supposed to be in a particular area to be in that particular area so they'll be able to experience the best quality of life?
Fair
ITs, they
question.
do get cancer even in Europe.
Do they get cancer in the sun, ma'am? When they sit in the
I'm
sun, do
gonna
they
give
get
you
skin cancer?
I'm gonna give you guys this last minute, and then we're gonna move on to Ra.
When YT people stand in the sun, do they get skin cancer? Yes or not, ma'am?
In cancer when they
They
stand
don't.
in the sun. They might get skin cancer when they stand in the sun. So is some of them, not all of them. Do all the South African YTs have skin cancer? The answer is no.
Okay.
I know that.
Now, this question is this. The South African YTs are in regions that is not that hot per se. But if we were to put them in the equatorial region where the temperatures go up to 40 degrees, they will get that cancer. They are in the temperate region. And in the temperate region, the temperatures will only reach out to a certain point. In the subtropical rainforest region or in the desert, they wouldn't be able to survive due to the climate. This is the reason why I said if a polar bear were to be in the desert, he can't survive. Everything around him is foreign. And even the fact that his adaptation is not working with the environment, it's working against him. So that sun is not working for him.
Okay.
Camels survive better in the desert. They don't survive better in the ice. So you coming up here and say, no, we should band ourselves with how we connect with people is flawed because ideology can change. Genetics cannot change. And if we
Okay.
group
Thank
ourselves
you for
just
that.
on genetics, then we'll be healthy all the way.
Brilliant. Thanks, BK. Ra, your 3 minutes start now. You can go ahead.
Greetings, hosts, panelists, everybody. Yo, BK, can I ask, where are you from, bro?
Well, I'm from the African soil, so I don't know what you want from me.
You're from the African soil.
Yes, I'm from
So
a
you trace
landmass
your
called
you
I'm
trace
in a
you trace
landmass called Africa.
so you trace your bloodline to Africa.
Yes.
All of Africa is where you trace your bloodline to.
Well, okay. There is E1B1A in South Africa. There's E1B1A in West Africa. There's E1B1A in East Africa, and also E1B1A in North Africa. So
So you're
there's no way for me to
E1B1A.
dispute.
That's you. So your identity is a genetic one. You identify yourself by your haplogroup. That's the only basis of your identity.
Well, that takes larger credence versus everything else because everything else is ideology, and your ideology can be changed, and people can influence that.
Except it's not, because the way identities are formed is they are formed from cultures, and cultures always originate from somewhere. For instance, if I say I'm a Masoto person, I'm
Yeah.
speaking specifically to a specific region of the world in which this language was created. My first name, my surname, this relates to a certain place on the map specifically, right? And then when we talk about nations, we're talking about borders, and borders are formed through wars. And what normally forms a nation is blood and soil, right? Which means either you trace your bloodline to that soil, or the people from your bloodline have spilled blood. I mean, yeah, from your bloodline have spilled blood to be on that soil. This is what normally forms a nation, right? Which means or people have fought to be here, right? So when you say hore, it's all about genetics, then yeah, I don't. That makes absolutely no sense because that is counterintuitive to human nature. Human nature says that we group ourselves. We start with the smallest group, which is the family. From the family, we move to the clan. The clan becomes a tribe. The tribe becomes a kingdom. Then the kick like, but at every stage of all of these groupings, then what happens is there's conflict. Then there's conflicts and war. This is to decide borders because as groups get larger, they want to identify themselves and protect themselves and sustain themselves, right? So this is how nations are formed. The idea that people, so let me ask you then, do you think people go to war over their genetics or over land and resources?
Well, people could go to war because of their genetics, but people are most likely to go to war over resources, land, power, etc., etc.
And that's human nature, right?
Not necessarily
Or let
human
me ask you
nature.
like this. Let me ask you like this.
It's
What
not
is more
human
human
nature at
nature?
all.
What is more human nature? To identify with your tribe and therefore the landmass that they come from or that they've conquered, or with your genes, your E1, B1.
Human nature will say that birds of a feather flock together, and therefore your human nature, if you're not confused, if you're not experiencing cognitive dissonance, you'd want to be around your people. Birds of a feather flock together.
On the land that you've conquered or defended, right?
Well, the land that you've quote unquote conquered and defended must be able to work with your genetics. If not, then
I will
you would have
allow
unalived yourself.
Sure.
I will
But
allow
that
this
makes no
engagement
sense.
another. I will allow. Sorry, Rob. Before you continue, I will allow this engagement another 5 minutes.
Okay. So, but then that what you're saying now doesn't make sense because human beings of all races, or let me say from all different origin points from all across the map, have adapted to all other parts of the world. Because what you're saying, well, by your logic, if you're saying Europeans can't survive in Africa because of the sun, then by that logic, Africans couldn't survive in Europe or in Northern America, and yet human beings seem to adapt to all different types of environments. Or am I mistaken?
Okay, you are mistaken because if I
How?
take, all right, no problem. If I take an African person and I bring him to Europe, there are certain things that he's not going to be getting,
But
right?
there are Africans in Europe
Wait,
right now.
there are Africans in Europe, I agree. But
Are they decaying or are they surviving and thriving? There are Africans that are willing to risk their lives to get to Europe.
I
So what
agree
they
that
what
there are Africans that
yeah.
are willing to take their life. But you see, this is the reason why we're doing this exercise. It's because I have to now be in a situation where I give you the information that you require. So the African that's in Europe is slowly declining because his environment isn't working with his genetics. But you're
We need
not going to
proof of
see it
that. We need proof
overnight.
of that. I
But
don't
you
want
know
us
how
to be
you're going
talking
to see
about
it.
theories. I don't want us to be talking about
This
theories.
is
We need
not
proof of
actually
that.
about theory. This is actually not about theory at all.
So
Because
hold on. Because survival is an instinct, right? We can agree on that, right? Survival is an instinct. Human
okay.
beings, yeah, human beings are gonna do what's gonna increase their survival opportunities. So if human beings within their human nature are risking their lives to get to a certain landmass, you're telling me they're willing to go against their instincts and go to a place that is gonna unalive them because of what? What would the reason be for that? What would the
Well,
reason? Yeah.
we'd have to bring out 418 and he will have to explain that to us because he has the genetics that of the people who did that. So
No, I'm
he
talking
will
about the
have to
Africans
explain.
right now. I'm talking about the Africans right now that are risking their lives to get to
The
Europe. Why are
Africans
they
who are
doing that?
risking
Why are they doing that?
the Africans who are risking their lives to go to different areas is because they are trying to experience a better opportunity there. It has nothing to do
Oh, so the
with race.
landmass that they come from, hold on. So the landmass that they come from isn't serving them that well, is it?
The
So that
landmass that
blows, hold on. So that
okay,
blows your whole genetics argument out of the water.
it actually does not
How
because
so? If they're in their
again,
natural habitat and they're not surviving as much as they could if they go to a foreign environment, then that means or your whole genetics thing is you're the one with an ideology. Human nature says that you're wrong, wrong, wrong.
okay.
Oh, so you concede that you're wrong.
All right, I think that wraps up that engagement. I'm gonna go to YIBreezy because I knew that he had his hand up and hasn't had a chance to say a word. YIBreezy, my bro, you
No,
haven't said much,
yeah.
so you can go ahead and speak.
No, I'll just be short. All I wanted to highlight was that BK has not made any arguments for genetics. Instead, he's been speaking about the environment. If you take white people, you put them in this thing. If you take a camel, you put it in a desert. If you take a polar bear, he's not made a single argument for genetics, by the way.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go to King Gafifi next because you guys had enough time to interact with each other, so I will not allow it to be a back and forth between BK Elite and YIBreezy. So I'm happy for King Gafifi to come in. Queen Gafifi, your 3 minutes start now. You can go ahead, my queen.
Hold on, Gana, before you start the timer. I just want to say, guys, I was so reluctant to come up. The decision was not easy at all for obvious reasons, right? I'm the one who invited the gents to come here and have this debate. Then for me to come up as well and engage, I was really, really reluctant. But I did miss a lot of the debate because my phone died, which is a good thing. I wasn't hosting. And I did catch the start and a little bit towards the end of the debate. Yiba, can I ask you a question first before I go to BK? Just a quick one, bro. Would you consider Africa to be a natural habitat for penguins?
Not necessarily. No, no.
Okay. And do we have a penguin colony anywhere in Africa?
We do have Boulders Beach, which has penguins and very rare and almost extinct penguins.
Okay. And would you say they are doing okay? Are they thriving? Are they not thriving?
They are doing pretty well. They are thriving. And yeah, millions of tourists come to see them every year.
Okay, I actually I'm gonna see them in June as well, weather permitting. Okay, weather permitting. BK, don't get too technical with me. I don't know this Hablo and IP1K and the
Yeah.
FBI. Please, Brad, be be nice to me. I'm scared of biology. I'm scared of biology. But in your just simply, what is a hypothesis?
It's a scientific theory.
Expand a little bit.
It's a scientific theory. It's a question that one asks, and then we move on to
Would it be fair
the
for me to say
experiment.
it's a scientific theory that is made based on very little evidence for the purposes of continued research?
I would agree with that. Yes, I would agree with that.
Okay. I'm asking this because I'm trying to figure out, was there anything beyond the hypothesis that you provided that you looked at and you said, okay, this continued research supports the hypothesis that I brought up as evidence?
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna allow you to ask the question differently, and then I'll be able to respond to it. So switch it
Okay.
up for me, please.
Okay, no problem. So you brought up a hypothesis which is based on limited evidence for continued research. So I'm asking, is there
Hypothesis, exactly.
one of the pictures you brought up? I think it had something to do with the heart surgery and traits, inherited traits, or something along those lines.
Okay.
Okay, but was there anything beyond that, or is what just that you looked at and you thought, okay, this supports my hypothesis as well?
Oh, okay. Well, as I said, the reason why I brought those things in, and this is why I asked if he understand what graft versus host is, because if you know
Yes.
what
No, I'm listening. I'm agreeing with you.
okay, I'll continue then. If you know what graft versus host is, it will tell you that your body will either accept or reject somebody else's body part inside of you based on your genetics. So it's either your genetics accept it or not. It's either your blood accepts it or not.
Okay.
So then the reason why I brought this up, and I brought up things like time cells, space cells, etc., and cellular memory phenomena, is because I was trying to prove the fact that if you take somebody else's body part, which those cells have cellular memory inside of them, and I place them into you, those memories, those experiences, those character traits that that person felt is going to experience that. The prompt that I showed up was showing us an actual place where you can find this information and see. And when you read through this paper, it will tell you that it's a fact. But it's not only this one. There are other papers that I'll be able to show you as well. Is it true that they are still trying to understand the phenomena? That is true. But the reality is this is happening. Every single person who we operate and put different organs inside of their body end up experiencing this particular thing. And if I had enough time, I'd be able to bring up the stats of people who are experiencing this phenomenon.
Yes, that's where I was going as well, because at the moment it's based on a hypothesis, and I was asking, was there anything beyond a hypothesis? Because so far we only seen a hypothesis. Okay, let's leave it. Let's leave it at that. I'm satisfied with your answer.
You satisfied?
Can
Okay, let's go.
yeah, sort of. But I get where you're coming from. Can just see these words, these scientific words are very thick for my tongue. I've got an African tongue, South African tongue to be specific, because can genealogical features be unique to a certain group of people, or be unique predominantly to a certain group of people? Am I audible?
I hear you, brother. I don't know where the other brothers are. They are
Yeah.
Googling, so of course they're somewhere. But
Okay.
am I allowed to take their time?
Kubuzwa wena nje.
No, I'm asking you,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
If
So the time is on.
genealogical
The time is on
features,
King Gafifi. The time is on King Gafifi.
you're
But those
taking
2 minutes
you're
apply to
taking my
you
time,
since.
Kandakanda.
Hey, I'm clarifying here. Wait, when I don't make it seem as though time cannot be put back. Coming here with those things. No, if the time is on the person who is questioning you, you get to answer on that specific time. So don't worry about it. You can respond to it as you see fit. If the engagement is still engaging enough, I will add more time for you guys to engage each other. So you can go ahead and respond, BK. I will add time. Don't worry.
All right. So yeah, he's going to have to reiterate his question again, and I hope that's okay.
Yes, so I was asking, you're making me say this word that I struggled with when I PK on purpose of food. Can genealogical features predominantly be unique to a specific group of people?
Your features be specifically unique to a group of people? Yes, they can. Because we have
If
BLP people and we have
it's
YT people, and they
no,
have a different phenotype, and a
no,
different
I'm talking
phenotype
about
express. Hey,
okay. I was okay. Let me just explain this like normally. So we have what do we call it? EP1K. What do you call it? FBI.
goodness.
No, I'm
You
serious, but I don't know how to
B1A?
say it.
What?
Yes. Do we wait? So why do Nigerians have big heads like that?
Okay. Well, now you're going into anthropology and things of that nature. That's fine. But the reasons why is because number one, um, anybody in SA would also be able to come up with a big head as well. We've seen big-headed SA people. So it's not
Yes,
just race. But
but in
now this
SA,
nullifies
but
your
in
argument.
SA, in SA it can be explained. In SA it can be explained. It's
What
like
is the
unique.
explanation for that?
No, but hold on one second. So in SA, it can be explained in the sense that if it's BK's family, we know that BK's family, they have big heads because their grandfather had a big head. But with Nigerians, all of them have they have big heads, just different shapes.
All of them have big heads. Come on, my
Yes.
brother. Don't do that. That's
Nigerians have,
analytical propositions.
okay. If not big heads, weird shaped heads then. That you get my point. Look at palm wine. Look at palm wine's head. Like a Nigerian's gonna have. Wait, hold on. But you get BK, you get what I'm trying to say, bro. Don't make my
No,
life
brother.
difficult, man.
No,
I'm
I actually
struggling
don't get
already.
what you're trying to say, because
Gentlemen,
if we look at
gentlemen. I'll give you 3 more minutes and then I have to move to Sam. He has been waiting here for a bit of time. So I'll put the 3 minutes on you, BK. The 3 minutes is between you and King Gafifi. Once that is done, we're moving to Sam.
I think the point I was trying to make is made. I think people got it. I don't know how to explain it simpler, but can I just hold on, chill.
Chill, my
right?
brother. Chill, chill, chill.
Chill. I'm happy to leave it at that. But so genetically, when I be BK, you are South African, right? Your parents are South African.
Genetically, I am African.
Okay, what makes you South African then?
This is the question that you need to tell your brother Breezy. He needs to tell me.
No, I'm asking you, what makes you South African then?
But I don't subscribe to your ideology. I subscribe to the ideology of Africans. So if you were to ask me what makes me African,
So
then I would be able to respond to that. But
okay,
since you're
let's
asking
put it
me
down.
what makes me South African, I
Okay,
cannot
let's put it.
respond to that because that
Okay,
traps me in a particular ideology.
Okay,
And I don't subscribe.
let's put it down to the most simplest thing, right? What is your nationality?
What is my nationality? Well,
Yes.
okay, I'm the First Republic of A00.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
The real question should be this: do I have the
It's
right to
okay.
select my nationality?
No, you don't.
Okay.
But you don't. You are South
Are you
African.
saying that I am not allowed to select my own nationality? According
you
to
can't.
international
You
law,
can't.
am I
You
allowed
can't.
to select my nationality? Yes or no?
I would love to see you wake up tomorrow and say you are Nigerian and go and claim nationality in Nigeria. It's not
Well,
gonna
my
happen.
brother, the reality is me and the Nigerian people share E1B1A blood, so there's no way for me to look at myself differently.
It doesn't matter. The laws of Nigeria are not governed by your scientific theory. They are governed by their constitution.
But we're not talking about the law. Right now, it's not, the conversation is not about the law.
That's why I asked you what is your
nationality. The conversation is about
nationality.
nationality versus the genetics.
Exactly.
So
That's why I asked you
about
what
the
is your
law.
nationality. That's why I asked you what is your nationality. Like we can't pretend like nationality all of a sudden has to be coded in science in order for it to exist. But let's leave it at that. Can I just ask you one last question? Why
Sure.
do we have a thriving colony of penguins in South Africa in a habitat that is naturally not theirs?
All right. I would have to ask you that first question. In the area that you're saying is not natural, because you're the one who's saying it's not natural for it, but we're going to continue. In the area that we're saying is not natural,
I'm saying it's not natural because we do have polar bears that have been pushed by global warming, pushed inland. They don't live in their natural habitat, but they're thriving. So I'm just asking you.
Are they living a longer experience in life or a shorter experience in life? Because they are not thriving, they are surviving. And there's a difference between that.
They're actually thriving.
No, I would not say that they thrive because
I promise you they're thriving.
What are they
eating? I promise you
eating?
that. Hold on. Do you know that polar bears that are kept in zoos sometimes live longer than the ones that are in their natural habitat?
The reason
is not
why
a natural habitat.
No, the reason why they live longer is because of the fact that they're in a zoo and they're being protected, and they are also being fed.
It's not
at
their
a
natural
particular
habitat.
time. So therefore, because in their environment, they probably wouldn't be able to have those types of foods that they are being fed, and they will be fed less.
The zoo is not their natural
have
habitat.
to compete with other people, and
zoo is not
other species as well. So in a zoo, things are prepared. That's why I called Yiba a zoo animal.
The point I was trying to make is that the zoo is not their natural habitat. So back to my question: Why do we have a thriving colony of penguins in a place that is not their natural habitat, including in Namibia, which is hotter than South Africa?
Okay, no problem. The first thing that I have to ask is, what is the food that they're getting there? That's the first question that I'm going to ask, because the reason that why they're going there is specifically because they're trying to get food. Is that true or false?
Okay, no. Hold on. So if a white
I'm
person,
asking you a question, my brother. Please respond.
Is the reason that they went to South Africa is because they're getting food? They're eating fish. So if
a white person are eating fish now,
yes,
are there sardines? Are there sardines that they are eating? Are those sardines traveling to these areas or not?
The sardines are always going to be there. But so if a white person goes to...
the sardines do travel. They have their own means in which they travel, and they travel seasonally. Is that true?
That's okay. That's neither here nor there. The
travel
penguins will still eat.
Wait,
no, but the penguins will still eat even if
seasonally-
the sardines are not traveling. So if a white person goes to Namibia and puts on sunscreen and doesn't get skin cancer, can we say that that's their natural habitat and they're fine? They can
They're
live
not,
their life.
it's not their natural habitat because
But they
the
can live
fact that they're
without.
using no, they're using chemicals to try to protect themselves. That's why even the sunscreen has SPF 500 that
But
protects them from the sun. Wait,
but
listen,
we do that all the time.
listen,
We build greenhouses to
listen.
grow food in. But hold on, we build greenhouses to grow food in places that naturally would not grow. I can take
Right.
a
This is
protea from
called
South Africa
terraforming.
and put it in the desert. Okay, okay.
I've given you ample time.
You did. You were fair. You
I'll
were
give
fair. You
you.
were fair.
I will.
You
I
were fair.
will. I will. I will allow this conversation to happen for 1 more minute. Sam has been patient,
No, it's okay. It's
but
okay. You
after
can give
Sam
to
is
Sam.
done, or
It's
should I
okay.
give
You
it to
can give
Sam
to
straight?
Sam. Yeah, you can give it to
Cool.
Sam. Thank you,
No
BK.
problem.
Thank you, BK.
No problem at all. Mr. Sam, you can come up. In that space, I want to bring up U418. So, like I said, I'm going to moderate the live. And after Sam is done, all the other speakers are going to come in. In priority, it will be Joyzy, Palm Wine, and Chill. But now, after that, I want to officially say that the debate is done. And I'm now going to run the panel as a live in a traditional sense that we always run them. The debate itself is all finished. So to those who are here for the debate, thank you very much for coming through. But now I'm going to run the live as the average and normal TikTok live, but I will run it with the conversation that has been taking place. So Sam will come first. Thereafter, it will be Joyzy, Palm Wine, and Chill. And then after that, it's going to be open. But Sam, as far as the debate is concerned, you get to have the last bite with limited time that is protected. Sam, you can go ahead.
Kanda, just before Sam goes on, will we be allowed to still ask questions about the debate after?
You can.
Okay,
But I'm saying
sure.
that I'm not going to limit in the same structure. After that, I'm going to run it as an open TikTok live like we normally do. But
Oh,
Sam has been here for a
okay.
while in light of the debate, so he gets to have a bite at it. Sam, you can go ahead, my bro.
Well, I hope I will be granted the same grace of time. So it was
No
quite
problem.
clear on
No
this
problem.
debate that YIBAv was just fighting demons he can only see, and BK, you did a phenomenal job. So YIBAv, I will need you to follow me on this one, right? Because I'm bringing a little bit of logic here. So you made an argument about borders. Am I wrong?
Yes, I did.
All right. So we are going to test that argument, as it were. So using that argument about borders. So if nationality shapes who a person is, so surely nationality is a causal variable. Meaning, if you were to alter nationality or remove nationality, this should fundamentally change who a person is.
Correct.
Do you follow the logic?
Yes, I follow.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to ask you a double-sorted question and an extra question. So it's just 3 questions. So given that logic that we just explored right now, can you explain to us how the political borders directly shapes a person's personality, like who they are? And then later, then after that, explain to us then when we shift or when we remove borders, does a person's identity significantly changes? So do you understand how the question is double sorted?
So number one, borders are an administration tool, right? In order for you to have law, there needs to be a jurisdiction that the law needs to preside over. That's the first answer to your question. Now, borders in
No, the first
themselves,
question is explain to us how those political borders shapes a person. Like how do,
yes,
because they should be, they should be a causal variable, right? Being the nationality, since you argue that it shapes who you are. So I want you to explain to us, how does nationality shapes who a person is, like their personality and stuff, number one.
no. Sorry. I did not make the argument that nationality shapes who you are.
Oh.
Now, but I will tell you how your environment, i.e., your nationality, does shape who you are, because it shapes, for example, your beliefs, your values, your upbringing. That is your environment that we spoke about. if you're following the debate from the beginning. So that's the point that I made. So in answering your question, I'm answering.
Making a point that nationality shapes who you are.
I did not make that point.
Well, this is what you're arguing, though, Yibrizi. You're arguing that nationality shapes who you are.
No, I did not
Oh,
make that argument.
so
No, I
what
did
are
not
you?
make that
What were
argument.
you debating here
When did you join the live? Did
from
you
the
join the
beginning?
debate from the beginning?
Yes.
So is there any way in my submission where I made the point that nationality shapes who you are?
Well, aren't you standing? Isn't that the stance that you are taking in this debate? Can't
Okay,
you?
so, no. So when we first started the debate, I asked a question before the debate started, whether is he arguing for open borders and immigration. He refused to answer, and then I continued to make my submission the way that I did, and then it became clear that he is speaking about epigenetics and genetics, and then that's where we took the conversation. So you clearly were not here from the beginning, but I can reiterate, it's fine. It's not only nationality or your environment that shapes who you are, but also your genetics, right? Who you are, So, for example, you can have someone, and this is the example that I made, with a high potential, a genetic potential for intelligence. But if that person does not have access to good schools, i.e., your environment, that potential will never flourish and be realized.
Wait. So basically, essentially, you don't disagree with what BK is saying.
What is BK saying?
Well, I'm not going to repeat what BK said. He made his point here. I'm here to ask you questions. You
Because
essentially
you also do
agree.
not know what BK is saying.
Wait.
BK
Okay.
is making an argument for genetics, but he keeps speaking about environment and natural habitat. Your environment is your nationality. It's your upbringing. It's your family. It's your life experiences. It's the
Yeah.
people around you.
Okay. I think I should go back to my questions, right? Because that's exactly
Yeah,
what you are
go back
arguing
to your
here,
questions.
which you're. So that's why I said to you then, explain to me how do these, because you made an argument about borders, and that's the argument I'm testing here. So I want you to explain to me, how does a border, right, make a person like who they are?
Okay, what was the argument for borders that I made?
You came here and you said that what you call BK, you were hoping that BK would touch on borders. Didn't you say that? But BK kept on limiting the argument about talking about genetics in a scientific sense. That's literally what you said. So that's why I'm here to try and test that argument about borders. Explain to us then, how do borders make up who a person is?
Breezy, can I answer him?
Wait, Pamwan. First of all, Sam came late, I think, because I did not make that
Well, you
argument at
don't know
all.
when I came. Let's not argue that you
I
don't
did
know
not
when I
make that
came.
argument at all.
Because wait, you don't know when I came. Let's not stick on that. You don't know. I'm here. You are where you are. I'm not quite too sure whether you know that for a fact. So answer my question.
You want us to start the debate again from scratch?
No. Okay, let's move on. Since you can't answer the question, no, you can't. I'm asking you,
No,
please.
Pamwan. It is their time. You'll come on once Sam is done. Then the panel is going to be open. And when it is, like I've said, people are going to take priority, are going to be Joyzy first, yourself and Chill. And then I know 41 also wanted to say something. But right now, after Sam is done with his line of questioning, I'm going to add 3 more minutes. Once they are done, the panel is open, but Joyzy will start first. And all my moderators will have their power back. Sam, I'll add 3 minutes so that you can engage you, Breezy.
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you as well that, so if a person changes their nationality, right, do they change who they are?
If a person changes their environment, yes, it's likely to impact who they become. Do you want me to give you examples as well?
What is nationality? Maybe let's start there, because
nationality is your environment.
Oh,
that's how we defined it when we started the debate. And actually, BK agreed with me. It's the whole nature versus nurture argument.
Oh, all right. So I'm asking you right now then, if I change my environment as you describe it to be nationality, do I change who I am? So if I were to change my nationality today and go to Nigeria, am I going to, is Sam going to change?
If Sam, you go and you move to Nigeria, what do you think the third or fourth generation from you will
No,
look
answer
like?
my question. You can't ask me a question.
That is the answer
Because
to your question. That
no,
is
it's
literally
oh,
the
it's a
answer to your
question.
question.
Oh, your answer to my question is a question.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. So can you understand right now how you don't exactly understand and you agree with what BK is saying from the
BK
logic
is not
that
saying anything. BK has not
okay.
made a single argument that genetics shape who you are.
Okay. So
You are rightly
essentially,
right. I am. I am. Sorry, go ahead.
you are arguing what exactly?
That's why I'm saying, you see, when you take L's, you come back with a vengeance for any patriots. You were not listening. You were not here for the debate.
Okay, that's
I
fine. You
will
don't know,
reiterate
again,
my
I will
what
not
my
argue
argument
with you
was.
whether was I listening or not because you
I,
don't know
I
what
will
I'm doing.
reiterate to you what my
So let's
argument
just stick
was.
on the substance. I'm not here to, attack you, and I really expect the same, eh? So go on.
Okay, so OPK was making the argument
No,
that
you, not BK. You. What essentially are you arguing? Because you are saying here that you, number one, are not arguing that nationality shapes who you are, which is exactly what the motion says. So I'm asking you then, since BK is not arguing anything, and I'm also not saying anything here, what are you saying? Let's focus
okay,
on what you have to say. Yeah.
sure, sure. So what makes a person is a culmination of your environment as well as your genetics. That's the argument that I made here. And I proved that there is extensive research in modern science which actually proves this. And I gave many examples. And this is still my debate to
So
say that it's
wait,
not
my time is up.
only,
So your environment and your genetics makes who you are. You said that, right?
yes,
And that's exactly what BK is saying. He's saying that genetics makes
that's
who
not
you
what
are.
BK was saying.
Well, I'm telling you, that's what BK is saying, to say your genetics makes up who you are. And when you say that environment and genetics makes who you are, that essentially means you agree with BK. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to let the live run now. So, Joyzy, you'll have your time to submit. If you want to ask questions, you can. But the debating time is done, guys. I'm now running it as a traditional TikTok live, and people have requested, and so right now they'll be treated as panelists like we normally do. So, Joyzy, you can go ahead, my sis.
Sorry, before Joycey goes ahead, sorry, my sister Joycey, I will stick around for maybe half an hour more and then I have to, hit the
No, no
bed.
problem. No
No
problem.
problem, my
No,
brother.
no, no, no problem. No problem, bro. I think we will close probably at 1:30. So I'll allow guys to come on. But until then, guys, we'll support the live. We'll keep supporting the guys that have made submissions. The panelists and the debaters have been absolutely incredible. So I've been loving the support, guys. Everything is it's absolutely incredible, man. But yeah, Joyzy, you can go ahead, my sis, and let everyone know we're gonna be closing at 1:30.
Thank you. Yo, I've never been so stressed and confused and frustrated all in the same time because, yes, BK, my lord, literally, I blame you. But nevertheless, yeah, I just got a couple of points I wanted to touch on. Firstly, I'll start with the lady Kia that came up here as asking YIBAv some questions. Talking about how a body will be identified if it was buried, how would they get the DNA, etc., etc. The body is decayed. I mean, people need to educate themselves sometimes before jumping on panels and asking silly questions because I completely failed to understand where she was going with her question. But I'll just, do her a favor and just tell her how it works. If you've been buried and your body is decayed, as she mentioned, you get identified by your dental work because if you've been in the ground for as long as, because your body's decayed, they're not going to find the coroners. When they've exhumed your body, they're not going to find any DNA on your body because the DNA has been disturbed. So they will go by your dental work, or i.e. your bones, because it's difficult to get any DNA from your body. And then next, BK, you were talking about the YT people eating food that they're not used to. They won't be able to stomach it. I mean, I find that so outlandish, because we're not very different to Abelung. They're human beings like us. We have exactly the same organs. We digest food exactly the same. Just because you move to another country doesn't mean that you can't eat certain foods. That's just a whole lot of BS. I don't know where you get that from, but that's just the most outlandish thing I've ever heard in my life. And secondly, to say Uguti, Abelungu, if they go to equatorial country, they will get skin cancer. That's never here or there, because even black people, me and my black skin, I could get skin cancer. So it's not a black or white problem, because cancer does not discriminate. If you get it, you get it. It's not about skin color. Of course, YT people, they will probably be more in danger of catching skin cancer because of they don't have so much melanin. Because even myself, that the fact that I'm in UK, I don't receive that much time in the sun, so I'm lacking in vitamin D. But that doesn't mean that I'm falling apart and it's going to change my DNA and my genes. I'm still very wild and kicking. So I don't understand your line of thinking when you were saying that. I mean, I'm just talking here. I don't need you to respond at all, and I'm not attacking you either, please, because we don't know each other. So don't take it like that. And another thing, you mentioned the animals. I mean, listen, animals, some of them have been in this world much longer than us, especially crocodiles and sharks. They've been here way longer than human beings. So when they migrate to certain countries, they do that on purpose, because they realize that they're not thriving in the place that they are. So they actually migrate to a different place where they actually thrive. That's just how it works. I mean, and I want, actually, you can answer me this one on the last part, just before I stop. Oh, sorry. And the blood types. I mean, you were just saying a whole lot of basic things. We know how blood types work. If you go in for an operation, you need to match bloodlines. I mean, sorry, not bloodline, blood works, so you can receive that organ. That was just like grade 1, biology works, because I don't understand why you had to tell Sibatalaga how medical things work. That was just such a waste of time. And the last thing I wanted to mention was your DNA. Kind of lost my train of thought here, but yeah, your DNA. I mean, like, for myself, I'm Zulu. I live in the UK. Doesn't make me British. If I have a child, of course, he's half Zulu, half British, but it won't change the DNA. I mean, you mentioned if 2 African people have a baby in China, that baby is Chinese. No, that baby is African. I think this is what I wanted to say. You're actually confusing like DNA with diet when you mentioned about the Mzungu people. Those are 2 completely different things. I could probably go and eat something in China, and obviously my body will reject it, because it's my diet. It's got nothing to do with my DNA. It's my diet and what my body is used to. So that's why I've just been so confused by some of your points that you've made. Yiba, you made more sense to me than BK, so I will just rest it there. Thank you.
Am I allowed to
All
respond
right,
to this
cool.
lady?
No, man.
You can,
You've been
bro, but
speaking, bro.
wait. You can, bro, but I'm gonna let Palm Wine, 41 and Chill to come in, and then you can speak afterwards. Because right now we're running it as a TikTok panel, not necessarily a back and forth as it is with the traditional debate. So yes, Palm Wine, you can go, then 41, then Chill.
Okay, so firstly, I'm going to start with the idea that borders define who you are. Look, man, a border is basically a confinement to a region. It's 1 line, 2 lines, however many lines you have. It confines a specific region. Within that specific region, you have a long line of genealogy within there, and you have a societal makeup that has been there for the longest time. So a person being born in specific borders of a country, that person is basically going to pick up the genetics of that region because it's been there for long and it's been reproducing over time, and the sociological aspects of it, the behavior, the way you do things, and all that stuff. So that's how borders define who you are. So if you're here, yes, you find Zulu people. But if you go to Malawi, you're going to find people who are similar, but they are shorter than Zulus. Typical Malawian person is short with a wider nose and all of that stuff, right? And I feel like BK came here and he just Googled some terms, you know, and then he threw in a bunch of terms that he knows very well that people don't readily know. But then actually he really doesn't understand what he himself is saying. So BK, I just wanted to ask you a question, right? What is the purpose of a gene? What is a gene?
Right?
Yeah.
The gene contains information.
Okay. What is the difference between DNA and a gene?
Oxyribonucleic acid.
What is the
What
difference between those two?
oxyribonucleic acid is what would make up your chromosomes.
No, man. What is the difference between a gene and DNA? I'm going to tell you, you're just throwing words, and what you're saying really doesn't make sense. What is the difference between a gene and DNA?
As I said, deoxyribonucleic acid.
Mm-hmm.
When we ask what this is, this will tell us that it is a what?
What is the difference between...
Wait.
What is...
I'm trying
Bro,
to
it's a
understand.
simple question that I'm asking
wait,
you.
not even understand. I'm
If
trying
you
to
are throwing
respond to
such
you.
big terms, you should know that from the top of your head. What is the difference between a gene and DNA?
Said, my brother, your gene is what's going to determine your gene has chromosomes. And
No, man. I didn't ask you what it has.
wait
What is the difference between a gene and DNA? That
to
is
respond,
the
my brother.
shift. Respond then.
If you want me to respond, you must give me the chance to do so, even
Your
though
answer, the answer to
oh
that
my
question
God.
is the difference between a gene and DNA is blah blah blah. That's it.
Brother, if you're not going to allow me to have
Respond.
my build, wait, I would love to respond.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not giving me the opportunity to do so. So anyway,
Okay.
I'm going to continue. A gene is a chemical material that makes up your genetic code.
Did you hear what I asked you, bro?
Yes, you asked me what's the difference between the gene
Yes.
and DNA. And I said
Yes.
DNA is a chemical material that makes up your genetic code. So it's the chemical material that makes up the gene. A gene is a segment of the DNA. I'm trying
Okay.
to give you the explanation. Oh my God.
It's very
Okay.
clear that you
So
you don't
wait, is the
all of
gene
the stuff that you said here, all of the stuff
wait.
that you said here, you know nothing about.
All right, cool. Palm one. My question here is this.
No. Don't ask me a
Listen.
question. No.
So if you don't want us to have a
You got
conversation,
away with this whole thing by
okay.
not answering questions and jumping straight to a question, right? I'm asking you, what is the difference between a gene and DNA? It's a simple question. And if you cannot answer that, it simply tells me that you know nothing about what you just said. The whole thing that you said, you know nothing about it.
Brother, in the end of the day, if you do not want me to...
What is the difference, brother?
Okay, if you do not want me to engage you, then I won't be able to have the conversation with you. So I told you now directly that DNA will be able to make up your gene. Is that not true? And now you're saying that I'm conflating the two
That
things,
is the
but I'm
most
not.
stupidest thing ever. Like what you just said right now, that is it. That is it. Just stop speaking because you don't know.
Here is that you came up to debate me, and that's fine. That's not a problem. Maybe
it's a simple thing.
Oh my God,
brother. Okay, go on.
The host, the conversation is going to be difficult for us because as I try to respond, the brother interrupts me
Okay,
and I'm
go
really
on,
trying.
brother.
Oh my
Go on.
God.
Stop googling and
Okay,
go on.
okay,
I'm
cool.
not even Googling.
Okay, explain. Kandakan, let it.
Gentlemen. Calma. Kodrero, please. So here's what I'm gonna do. BK Elites, I'll give you 1 minute to answer the difference as per Palmwine's question. That 1 minute is uninterrupted. Palmwine, please do not unmute until he is done with his 1 minute where he answers your question.
Kanda, just can I just after they've had the minute, can I just have a
We're
quick minute
giving
as
him
well to
time
answer?
to Google, Joycey. Let
No,
him explain.
no. Wait, guys,
No,
please
that's
You're
not
let's
like
keep
that
giving
thing
him
that
time.
moving
You
this.
see, this is
No,
how.
wait,
Okay.
guys, allow me to run the live, please. I'm gonna give him 1 minute. Nobody else says anything until he's done with his minute. Please. So, BK, this is your 1 minute uninterrupted. You can respond. What is the difference?
Now, chromosomes are carriers of genetic material. Genes are linear structures with genes are linear structures that will be able to be located in the loci. And they have an allele, which is a variant of sequences of nucleotides and nucleotides at a particular location. So now I've just defined what genes are. I said genes are linear structures, and I explained where they are. And then I also said chromosomes are carriers of genetic material. So by using the unifying theory of genetics, which identifies chromosomes as carriers of genetic material, we are now getting to see what the definition of chromosomes are. And then we are going to talk about what DNA is. So then I did give the definition of DNA just prior to that, which is a basic unit or a segment of the gene. A gene is a basic unit. A gene is a basic unit. I hope that makes sense.
All right.
No, that doesn't make sense.
Palm wine, you can go ahead. I'm gonna give you your 1 minute. You can rebut and you can land so that we can move on to 41.8, and then we'll go to chill, and then we'll go to Umzat.
Okay. So basically, you don't know what you're talking about. Let's start there, right? Everything that you said so far, again, it sounds appealing to a person who doesn't read about genetics and stuff, right? I'm not claiming to be a reader into the idea of genetics, but I do know a few things, right? And I can tell you that what you just said right now is the most stupidest thing ever. Like, bro, stop what you're doing. Just stop, because Yonkelende Kurumela is a whole bunch of nonsense, right? That is what you just did. But anyway, I'm going to ask you now, right? If a person is found dead, which is what you had proposed, what is it that is used to identify who they are?
If a person is found unalived,
Yeah.
I would say that it would depend on the state of their unalivement. But anyway, we're going to go
Who
into
they
it.
are.
Wait. So there's something called paternal DNA. There's something called autosomal DNA. And then there's also something called Y-DNA. And there's something called mtDNA. There's something called whole genome sequencing as well. So when you're looking at paternal DNA is the one that's going to connect you to your direct lineage and your direct family. So if we take your blood stream, and I'm going to give an example for what I mean. When a child is born and we're trying to understand whether, wait, relax, my brother, let me respond. Let me respond. Let me respond.
Palm wine. After he is done with his response, I want to go to 41.8. Let's make sure we keep it moving.
I'm just going to make a submission after him and then we can move on.
All right, no problem,
It's
my
all
brother
good.
Palmwine.
It's all good. Let him speak uninterrupted, and then after that, you'll have 1 minute, and then I have to move to 41. Other people have been waiting, gentlemen. It's only fair that we treat them with respect as much as you guys would want the same thing. So you can conclude, and then after that, we'll go.
Right. Okay. So when the child is born, you are able to take samples from that child's DNA and connect it to samples of another person's DNA to see if there is going to be a match. That's called paternal DNA. So you are able to actually check if you have a direct connection with those people. So how are we going to check if where you are, who you are, etc., etc.? We'll be able to extract from your blood. And when we've extracted from your blood, we're able to see if there are going to be any matchups with other people. And if we find a matchup, if we find a link between this person and the other person, we are going to know that they come from the same family, i.e. the same bloodline, i.e. it will even be the same tribe. It can even go down to your actual parents. So that's how we're going to be able to find out. But there are other means in which we'll be able to find out as well. So, and just to answer him before, you must understand that there are certain things that have blueprint and there are certain things that have makeup. So we're going to have that conversation a bit later on if you'd like. I do not mind. But to answer him directly on what he was saying, he was asking me, how do we test this particular person? And I said, okay, if you there's something called paternal DNA. If you do take a person's blood and you compare it with another person's blood, you'd be able to find a match.
Okay, we just wasted so much time. But anyway, the difference between DNA and a gene, it's simple. DNA is a long molecule that contains genetic information, and a gene would be segments of that. What is a gene? It simply has information. So if you have a big forehead and you come from a genealogy of big forehead people, that gene is active within that DNA. Okay, so that's why you're going to keep on reproducing like that. What makes humans different, or what makes people express different, white, black, colored, and all the races, the difference is certain genes are on, certain genes are off. It's as simple as that. So you failed to answer a simple question, yet you came here with so much jargon that you know nothing about, right? You know nothing about. But that's the simple thing that I'm telling you. If you go to South Sudan, you're going to find people are tall there. Why? Because they have a long line of breeding within the same genes, right? If you go to South Sudan right now,
bro.
if you go to South Sudan right now, you're not going to automatically become dark and tall like them by virtue of you being there. But if you interbreed with South Sudanese, over time, those genes will basically fall onto your to the kids that you're gonna have, and then that gene is going to continue. Maybe they're gonna be a bit lighter because you're South African, but over time, those genes are gonna be they're going to reproduce a specific looking type of person. So what you just said here, my man, you just said a whole bunch of nonsense that you know nothing about. Like, bro, you know nothing about it. Yeah, but anyway.
I see if I had him. 41. I think
What
the
a
person
fucking
you wanted to. I think
what
the
an
person you wanted
absolute.
to engage. I think the
No,
person you wanted to
I'll still
engage
make
is
my
no longer
statement. I'll
here.
still make my statement. I'll
So
still make my
you'd
statement
be
because
sure, no problem. You were here before, so I will time you. But yeah,
okay.
you can go ahead. Then after
Hold
you,
on.
we'll go to.
Josie can get one of my minutes. I don't need a full 3 minutes. Josie can get one of my minutes. She
That's
wanted to say
cool.
something.
That's cool.
No,
She'll
you know
finish your
what?
time then. But
No,
you
no,
can go
no, no,
ahead. You can
wait,
go
wait,
ahead.
Ganda, I'm dropping anyway because I need to go have my dinner. But 41-8, you can go ahead because I wanted to ask this guy about the whole potato
Okay.
thing that he was saying. But it's
All
cool.
right.
Go ahead, brother.
Well, I really wanted to ask him because seeing as he is such a geneticist, I wanted to actually ask him about the L series haplogroups and the E series haplogroups. Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay. BK, sorry. Can you reset my time, please, Kanda? Please, please, please. BK, do you agree that the L series haplogroups and the E1B1A haplogroup are indigenous to Africa, specifically Bantu people?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So there was a study done by the Uppsala University and the University of Pretoria and the Stockholm University in 2000, published in 2019, called "Patterns of African and Asian Admixture in the Afrikaner Population of South Africa," which found that a large portion of the Afrikaner people had a 5.5 to 7.2% admixture of those specific haplogroups, the L series and the E1B1A haplogroup. So if, according to your logic that you've displayed to us tonight, if I had to go get my DNA, my genome sequenced, and it was found that I have the E1B1A haplogroup, would you consider me African? Me, this pasty white white guy, would you consider me African?
Okay.
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you. Yes or no? It's a yes or no.
No, I would not.
Okay, so you don't even believe your own bullshit. Thank you very much.
All right. So now you wanted me to give you either a yes or no answer, and I would love to do so, but I must also be able to motivate. So here's how I'm going to motivate.
About your motivation, bro.
Okay.
You are a
So you see what's
pseudoscientist.
happening now. Now
This
he's
is not
triggered.
This is not your
Listen,
time. This is
418.
not your time. It's
But
not
you're
your time.
engaging me. The conversation is a wait.
yes
You're
or no.
engaging me. You're having a
I
conversation with
wanted a yes
me.
or no.
But
I only
BK,
wanted a yes or no.
allow his time to finish, and then we'll allow you to answer.
No problem.
Okay.
My
But
thing is,
that was,
Please
hold
mute.
on, 418.
I've got a
if
minute
he's
left.
asking,
Please mute.
I've got a
Please
minute.
mute,
I've got a
BK.
minute left. Yeah.
Hold on,
Listen.
418. That was a
Yeah.
true or false question. So
Yeah.
he does not have to motivate.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you know, all you've done is you've spewed these large words trying to confuse people all night long, and then you come up with this thing of that black people are immune to skin cancer. That is, where the hell did you get that from? Where in your life did you get that from? Because that just showed what a pseudo intellectual you are. That you'll believe, that you'll bring a myth like that, or even a hypothesis, and can present it as facts. Please, and yeah, run away. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure who's next, guys. Mzansi or
It's chill. It's chill.
okay. Cho,
It's
go
chill.
ahead.
Then Mzansi.
Go ahead, Cho.
Hey, it was nice hearing a lot of being discussed here. And when I joined, I liked the issue that there was an ongoing debate. And to be honest, I did love the part where I can't see a name anymore because it's now showing unfiltered where she was. And 418 also said something that I particularly liked. There's also an issue that was about regarding nationalities. And I was actually surprised that how does myself moving to the UK then change my genetics? Because at the end of the day, can we say, because I'm originally from Zimbabwe, if they moved Zimbabwean border to say Harare is no longer part of Zimbabwe, it's now part of Zambia, is that then going to change my genetics? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard, to be honest. And I did see a lot of people on the panel mentioning the same thing, which is really crazy because it doesn't change anything. I did like the part that a lot was then explained to say what genes are and what DNA is. And that was really clear because genes are part of the DNA. DNA is exactly as how palm wine explained it. Now all the definitions to this say white people, if you move to China, if you eat, that changes your genes. Oh, yeah, it's true to some extent. Because, say for example, a lot of people in the west of Africa, they do eat a lot of what's it called, cassava. Or yeah, their food is based. They're like most African foods are starch based. South corn, and most West Africans get their starch from cassava. Cassava does have more starch than corn. It then kind of like changes a lot about how they look because they eat more starch, and it kind of like changes the year or day. But generally, the basic things of it is everyone is just the same. How is a human being defined? This is the basic stuff. So I don't want to waste more time saying a lot of stuff because a lot of things have been said. But kudos to 418 for bringing it up and the other lady that said something. If I ever need to say something more, I'll do say so.
Thank you.
Allowed to respond back to this brother?
Yeah, I'll give you time to respond. Here's your host. Is it a minute to respond, right?
Yes, it is. Thereafter, we go to Mzansi for sure. Wow.
Okay. Go ahead.
I
Okay.
don't know what.
All right, cool.
I don't know why I sang that.
No worries, my brother. Let's get into it. So, um, the reality is this: the brother was saying things about cassava and how cassava is a natural thing. Cassava is not indigenous to the African soil; it comes from the Portuguese people. Number two, and how I'm going to qualify that is that cassava has cyanogenic glycosides in there, meaning that as you eat it, it turns into glycosides, which ends up eating your brain. You are telling me that African food are starch based. That's not true. There are many African foods that you'd be able to identify right now that does not have starch. In fact, when you take starch and you heat it up, it turns into something called acrylamides. And when you eat acrylamides, you are then able to get more, or you are susceptible to get more cancer. Now, wait. So now,
Jargon now. Yabona uqalile,
wait,
bruh. Tell us
wait,
ngesintu sikuzwe
Okay,
kahle.
I'm gonna give him an
wait.
extra 30 seconds. Go ahead, BK.
So unfortunately, there are certain words that I will not be able to use in my mother tongue. Why? Because for an example, in our mother tongue, there isn't a word for epigenetics. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to use another way to define it. But the reality of the situation is the brother came up here and said there are certain foods that are indigenous to the African soil, in which he's right, but they are not starch based. He's incorrect. And I showed why. And then I told you where you'll be able to find the cassava plant from and where it comes from specifically and how it's going to hurt the African as he eats it. The African, when he eats it, he
Your time
then
is
eats
up,
some.
my brother.
Wait.
Your time is up. I can't wait. I'm monitoring people's time. I gave you a minute and a half. I added an extra 30 seconds.
Okay, but I'm
I
about to
can't
land.
go. Okay, be quick, please.
All right, cool. So the reality of this situation is that certain foods definitely do have the ability to poison us as quote unquote African people.
Masimba wodwa wena la. Lento ikhuluma la yonke ayikho.
All
Ukhuluma
right, my
Masimba
brother.
nje straight.
We're gonna talk about it. In some point, I'm going to engage you, so that time is coming.
Engage me.
Francie, you can go ahead, my sister.
Yeah, Molweni, guys. Thank you for such a warm welcome. Ganda Ganda, you sang for me. Wow. Yes, it's him, guys. I am just so overwhelmed. I don't even know where to start. Maybe a quick one, BK. BK, are you here? BK?
Talk. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, if I were to say to you, Queen Victoria had a gene that made all males in her bloodline to catch hemophilia. What does that mean?
Okay. So she had a gene in her blood that makes all males get hemophilia. Is that what your question is?
Yeah, I'm just putting it in layman's terms. What does that mean?
Well, if she's going to be passing it down to her children, definitely that's going to happen at some point, because whenever you consult your doctor and they ask you, hey, is there anybody in your family that has had hemophilia before? You're going to have to reference the fact that no, my queen mother had this and this and this particular disease at this particular time. So if I'm seeing it expressing at this particular time, which could be 50 years, 10 years, whatever, then we're going to say that the reason why I'm experiencing this is because of my queen. Here we go.
Well, that's a documented thing, by the way. She only transmitted it to her male descendants, not females. Okay, so that should answer something for you when it comes to genetics. Now, another thing that I wanted to ask you is, if I were to say to you, HIV enters your cells, and that is how you get HIV. What does that mean? Does it mean it's genetically transmitted? What does it mean to you?
Okay. Well, I would say that it enters into the bloodstream. There's a process called reverse transcriptase, in which the virus will then start copying its genetic information into your DNA. So, by virtue of this particular thing happening, it ultimately changes you as well. And this is something that I actually have spoken about, that there can be something called reverse transcriptase that can happen to people, and they will be able to change their gene or that makeup. So I hope I've given you the answer.
No. HIV doesn't affect genes. It's not genetically transmitted. I just gave you I
Wait,
am
ma'am.
helping you. Hold on. I am helping you
No problem, ma'am.
to answer Palm Wine's question. I have given you a genetically acquired disease, and I have also given you. I'm just, you know what? I'm helping you here. I'm really trying my best to make it sound very easy for you to understand the difference between the two. For you to come back and answer palm wine. It's as simply as that.
No
HIV is
problem.
not genetic. Okay, he asked you a question about,
Not
hold
what I'm
on,
saying.
he asked you a question about genes and DNA. Now I am showing you the difference between what happens to the DNA and what happens to genes. Okay, now I just also want to ask you something. If I were to put it to you that children born in Central African Republic are actually very much delayed in their milestones, which also has an impact on their mental capabilities. What does that tell you?
I need you to repeat that again. Say that again.
Children born in Central African Republic have delayed milestones, and also they are mentally, just to put it mildly, I don't want to say retarded, but very slow.
So, are
Is
you
it
asking me
genetic
why
or
is
is
it
the
happening?
environment? Is it genetic or is the environment?
Okay, I would definitely say that it's the environment.
Okay.
Environment.
To say that it's the environment. Can I qualify?
I'm listening.
Yeah,
No,
you
don't
can.
qualify because you're gonna
We'll give
qualify
you a minute.
nonsense.
Okay, I'll give you a minute to qualify. Please be quick and please stick to your time. I need to go move on to Ra.
All right, I'm going to wrap this up for tonight, and I'm going to drop. So, my thing here is this: is that in the case of these particular children that she has mentioned from Central Africa, if they are experiencing things in their environment that is affecting them negatively, For an example, we just had a conversation with a brother right now who was telling us about cassava. If these people are going to keep on taking this cassava, if people are going to keep on taking the Irish potato, which also has choline on it as well, if they continue to take this, it would be able to have an adverse effect in how they are going to perform. But the question can go both ways, right? So therefore, it could be the fact that maybe in their genes they had they weren't maybe that quick to catch up with certain concepts, and that's okay. But and we'll be able
So
to
the
see that
genes were
between
not able to catch up
wait.
certain concepts. The
Does
genes
he
were
know what
unable
No,
to
genes
I'm
catch
are?
up.
not
That's
saying
why
that
I
the
asked him what is a
Guys,
genes.
gene.
let's
That's what.
allow him to
No, I'm
finish.
not saying that the gene. Don't misconstrue what I'm saying.
But you
Please
I
said
am
watch your
trying.
so.
time, BK.
All right, cool. Thank you. I'll notice my time. So, I was trying to explain the fact that the foods that you're going to eat are going to affect you in a particular way, which could make you quicker or slower. But then I was also trying to explain that you could have genes that are inside of you that will make you catch certain concepts quicker. And not just concepts, but you'd be able to respond in your environment quicker. And that is how it works. But now I was trying to also go into the fact that both of these two things have an effect on those particular people that you were talking about in Central Africa. So unfortunately, even though you want me to pick one specifically, I can't. Both of those things are contributing factors in making that child being either smarter or taller or even more, I would say, quote unquote, bigger in terms of their size, and also other things as well. That's what I would like to say.
Now
BK, don't leave, BK.
I wanna ask you one last question.
Mzansi,
Um
Ra,
immigrants, African immigrants have been in our country since 1996, and none of them have appeared in the national top 40. What could be the reason? They've been here for 30 years, but none of them have appeared in the national top 40, even though they are studying in our schools. They were born in our hospitals, and they are doing the same syllabus with South Africans. What could be the reason for that if you were to look at it?
Well, the reasons, as I said, there could be multiple contributing factors as to why their performance.
That's been the most likely
Wait,
reason.
wait, ma'am. You asked me a question. I'm responding. So please allow me to do so. So, and we are not even talking about the different stresses that they go through, right? That would be able to affect them. But we are not going to add those in there. Let's stick to the framework that we're in. So, yeah, those people, even though you want to separate them from you, they are experiencing certain things that will obviously not help them to perform the way that they should. For an example, I would now have to ask, what is it that those people were consuming? And if what they were consuming is different, extremely different to what the African or South Africans were consuming, it's also going to affect their performance. So let me give you an example. The brain and the heart and the stomach are connected via the vagus nervous system. Are you aware of the vagus nervous system?
No, I'm not. Tell me more
Okay,
about
cool.
it.
So if wait, Palm wine, your time is coming. So I said the brain and the heart and the stomach are connected via the vagus nervous system. So whatever it is that you put inside of your stomach is going to change the way that your heart and your brain and generally your whole body is going to respond. So if they consume something that is going to affect their brain, it therefore explains why they are experiencing this. So if they are taking,
Now, a South African student who went to the school for the disabled in my hometown, Joyce, at St. Martin's. St. Martin's is a very popular. It's the only school in Port Shepstone, by the way, for the mentally retarded and the physically retarded. She actually made it to the national top 40, but none of the foreigners
Sorry,
have made it there. So what
Mzansi for
does that
sure.
mean to
Sorry,
you?
Mzansi. sorry, Mzansi, before you continue, I'm going to give this engagement 3 more minutes. I'm going to time it. Then I'm going to move to Ra. Okay? So you guys can continue, but I'll give you guys 3 minutes. Then we move to Ra.
What does that mean to you that even despite the challenges of that goal, even when you look at her, she made it to the national top 40. You know, she is disabled from birth. But none of the foreigners in 30 years have made it to the national top 40.
Okay. Um. Well, again, it could be for whatever reason. Yeah. The same thing that we're going to say about Stephen Hawking's. Because he had a particular disability, then it made sure that he could focus on different aspects as well. So we're going to use somebody who who cannot see to illustrate my point a bit better.
Hell no. There are no advantages. Hold on. There are no
Wait.
advantages from having a motor neuron disorder. Motor neuron disorder won't make you move, won't
I
make you
understand that it
breathe,
won't make
won't
you
make
move.
you think. Hold on. He's an exception. I have seen a lot of patients with MND. Okay.
Okay.
I did my medical education at King Edward, Eddington, Albert Lutuli, Gray's Hospital. There are no advantages of having a motor neuron disorder. Okay, he is an exception. You know, people with MND don't even last past 3 years. So don't ever say that there was a special advantage that MND made him a focus on another thing. No, people degenerate in less than 18 months. It's over.
All
Now,
right.
what I want you now to consider is this. Studies have shown that the environment only has a benefit of up to less than 20%. Some will say 30%. I mean 15% on who you are, the environment. Okay, majority of who you are is from your genes that have been passed down to you. Okay? So you need to know that studies that have been done over some time, over the years, and the examples I was giving you is this, that even if we were to take as many foreigners and put them in South Africa, if they come from a genetically predisposed environment for them not to succeed genetically, it doesn't matter what we give them. They will always perform under. We can only do so much, but it's genetically from what they got from their parents. So you need to acknowledge that. And this is important for everybody who's here. Who you mate with determines your bloodline. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Brilliant. Now,
All
thank you
right.
so much, Sissom, for sticking to time. BK, you will respond, but it is important that we go to Ra. He has been silent for quite a while. Ra, you can go ahead.
But now, this conversation
Yeah,
was
Patriots. Hold on. Sure, you get a chance, bro.
No, guys. BK, you've had your time. I want to give it to Ra. He's been waiting patiently. If there is going to be a back and forth, it'll be on the behest of the person who has been given time to speak. So Ra, it is your time to speak. You can go ahead. After Ra is done and you feel that there's a need for you to engage, you're more than welcome to do so. But he's been waiting patiently. He deserves the same courtesy that I've been giving everybody else. So
Can I drop so that you can just pick up just King?
I will drop my leader because I'm still doing something.
Okay.
that's
Another
cool.
thing is I wanted to ask BLK.
Wait. No.
BLK.
No, wait. Siswam. Don't worry. Siyabuya. Right now, I want to make sure that Ra gets his time to speak. So, Ra, you're going to go. And Just Kings, that space is occupied for him. So, I'm accepting Just Kings right now. Ra, you can go ahead and engage.
Yeah, all I can say, Patriots, is let's pray for South Africa, guys, because I don't know. I don't like the fact that we are a hotspot for scammers. I want our father Nabo BK who just grew up and his trick. Some kids used to dance, some kids were good at soccer. He was that kid that would come in and speak really fast and confuse you by saying English words that you don't understand. And he was no nigga says that guy. Why now once but now when he speaks to people who actually know so it becomes clear that he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So yes, and it's not cool, man. BK, if you got nothing else from this life, bro, I hope it's to learn to respect us as South Africans. We've done nothing to deserve this level of disrespect for our ears to be turned into toilets. How what does all of that mean? Dololo. Young Tola Prime, don't do this, it's not cool. Umdala. Everybody keeps telling you you're young, but I believe you're old enough to know the difference between right and wrong. You are contributing to why our Makoko are losing their savings to scamming pastors because now you're busy sowing the seeds, readying the soil, because apparently you have a following. Everybody who follows you is going to grow up and donate their money to nonsense because you are preparing them with your with your fake intellectualism, which amounts to nothing. But it's okay to just speak logic and facts and stick to that, bro. There's no one to impress on TikTok, dog. Because how smart you are shows in your real life, not in the nice sounding English words you can speak on TikTok, bro. I hope that does something for you. I'll leave it there for now.
Thank you so much. Ra, you can respond, BK. I'll give you 2 minutes to respond to Mzansi and to Ra.
All right, cool. Let me respond to Ra. My brother, so you came up here to character assassinate me. Fine, no problem. You are saying that I don't know what and what and what, no problem. This is why I get to ask you questions about the topic that we are having to see if you understand where we are. I think that's fair. So now, I'm going to ask you this. Can you tell us because you think that melanin is both for YT people and for BLK people? Yes or no?
Awume kancane baba sibuza wena umbuzo la
Come on.
baba
Listen,
Come on. No,
That's
I'm
your
talking
thing.
about
That's your baby to carry.
lalela
Bro,
ngesidale
wait. I'm talking about my own thing. Now that
lalela la ngesisidale wena uhlezi ubaleka
wait.
kanje usufuna ukubuza imbuzo
Come
lalela
on.
la
I'm
wena
supposed
ubuza
to
imbuzo
wait.
la
I'm building.
lalela la sikubuza imbuzo la musufuna
Listen.
ukubaleka
Listen. I'm not running
Guys,
away from
ambolala wena
anything.
princess ungalokhu usibangela isidina la
hold
usufuna
on,
ukwela
hold on,
ambolala
Palm
I'm
Wine.
not running away from anything.
Hold on, Palm Wine. Just a quick one. Yes, seen one thing I've learned. Go BK. BK has attention deficit, but he's mastered a way of dribbling around, just like Hura explained. He behaves like inganeka gogo. Yabo iqili. Yabo iqili elincane. Elibe iqili
ubheva ngathi
elisencane.
Nigerian.
Exactly. Yabo iqili elikhula liphikitha ugogo.
Host,
Liphikitha
but this is
ugogo.
my time. What must I
Hold
say
on.
then?
Sizokunika more time. Sizokunika more time. But I've
Okay,
really
cool, no
done an
problem.
assessment on you, my guy. Let me tell you, behavior like inganeka gogo that had the attention deficit. But yase iyakwazi ukuthi icope and ibiqili BK. Yabona wena I'm sure uyakwazi nokubhaka. Can you bake BK?
Can I bake as in
Yeah.
food?
Do you
Yeah, I
bake?
can. Yes, I
As
can.
in food kanjani yabona
You see, unfortunately.
Palm wine, we were never ready. man.
ikuphi okunye ukubhaka okwaziyo wena ikuphi
Oh my
okunye ukubhaka
God.
okwaziyo ngaphandle kokubhaka ukudla
Let's allow him to answer, guys, and
No,
then we
but
move on.
unfiltered. Why would he say as in
Now, my
food?
question is, if I'm not allowed,
hey
wait, if I'm not
No,
allowed to
I
say
hear
anything on
you.
the panel,
I
then
hear
this means
you.
that I'm doomed to begin with.
Go ahead, answer.
Oh my God. Okay, cool.
Uyakwazi ukuluka amagoda BK?
All right.
Uyakwazi ukuluka
Every single time, wait,
amagoda
you know
glass?
what I've noticed here is that every single time that I'm going to try to say
No, guys,
something,
let's allow him to please speak
I'm going to be
uninterrupted,
okay.
please. Go ahead, BKB. Go ahead. You see, we've given him an excuse to kick it, guys.
Asile
We
lona
needed
kahle
him in
namkhethu.
that
Yeah,
corner.
good riddance. Good
Yo,
riddance.
but guys, I
Big.
loved today. You know this guy. This guy, you know that sales guy. You know that call center agent that's working in the sales department, and he needs to meet his target. He desperately needs to meet his target, or else they booting him out. He will sell ice.
With snake oil as salesman. Remember, snake
Hey,
oil cures everything.
hey, this guy.
Udayisa uzifo zonke this one. I'm sure
Ah.
uyakwazi ngisho. I'm sure uyakwazi ngisho ukuluka amagoda aphinde abhake aphinde futhi ayohleba. I'm
You
sure he
see,
does all
you
of those
see,
things in
you see,
sequences.
a foreign national can sell you a TV that's broken, and then when you take it back to their shop, they'll tell you that you can't return things. This is BK. That is
Uphila
BK.
kuGoogle. Uphila kuGoogle afike athatha ama-terms laphayana angawazi nanokuthi asho ukuthini.
You
Afike
you know what his
azowaphalaza la.
you know what his problem was, Palm Wine, is that he had this thing. He was gloating, saying that, oh, he's going to thrash Yiba. Yeah, nah, he like he's going to destroy Yiba. He was never ready, for to debate somebody like him. And look what we get. Look at the quality of debate we get. Mina, honestly, I'm really disappointed because this guy was fumbling. If he was writing an exam, he was going to get 0
I,
out of
I,
100.
I just feel I need to say something because there's now a little mention about immigrants. So I'm not an
Ayabona-ke
immigrant to
baba,
South Africa.
ayabona-ke baba ungaqali lapho.
Yeah,
Ungaqali
I'm in
lapho.
the UK
Angithi
at the
angithi
moment.
uyikwerekwere wena ungaqali
And
lapho.
to be
Ungaqali lapho.
nah, you can call me names all you
Hayi
like.
hayi
It
kuseka
only
indaba yakho.
reflects your level of
Kuseka
intellect.
indaba yakho.
Because only
Mute
stupid people.
kwerekwere mute.
Yeah, debate.
Mute.
Nah. You can mute.
Phuma la.
This
Phuma
is
la
a
Nkosi.
discussion. You don't
Asikhulumi
need to
namakwerekwere
call me
namhlanje. Akuyona
names.
platform yamakwerekwere
Nah, you
namhlanje.
don't
Phuma.
need to call me names, man.
Phuma.
Just man
Phuma.
up. This is
Princess.
just I was
Khuluma princess.
invited here, so I can just
Invite
state
over
my
wena.
point and just finish.
Phuma kwerekwere phuma.
Nah, don't call me that
Princess.
slow, man. That's
Princess.
that's slow. Seriously.
Khuluma
Man,
namakwerekwere
just take
namhlanje.
points as they are. How is it you allowed BK to say something is
Come on,
equitably
you're
according
not
to
my
you?
father. You don't tell me
Nah,
when I have
just
Nawe
let me
nawe
speak.
phela uzokuphuma.
Nah, don't call me names, man. That's slow. That's slow, man. Instead of calling you palm wine, as you want to be called, I can't be
Aye,
calling
man.
you other names which I just picked from the air or anything
Hey,
like
stop wasting our
that.
time, man.
That's
You
not
wanna
cool,
answer the
man.
question?
Please.
Awe
Okay.
usimoshe
You're wasting our
isikhathi
time,
man.
man. You're
Now
wasting our
I
time.
have a
Just Kings, I think
contribution,
it's your turn, Just
rather.
Kings. It's fine.
Something
You've
that was
already
mentioned
spoken, Cherry
by
Vibes.
Khuluma Just King.
Yeah.
Hlwane phansi namakwerekwere.
nah,
I
but
just
you
came
guys
to.
have spoken
Yeah, please.
multiple times. Anyway,
Kuseka.
Please show me there on the. Expand me there. Can you expand me there by I don't know,
Sicela ufake
moderator?
uJust Kings. Yeah.
Let me see if I can read this thing. So if you can look at this thing, there are some screenshots that I took. While South African black populations and Nigerian, I just chose Nigerian, black population share a broad ancient ancestry as sub-Saharan whatever genetically. Genetic studies show that African populations have the highest level of genetic diversity in the world, and significant population structure exists within the continent, meaning groups from different regions have distinct genetic backgrounds due to unique histories, right? I'm going to the next one. Let me go to the next one. So the next one says high diversity. Studies have shown that genetic difference within Africa are actually larger than those between Africans and Eurasians. Therefore, treating black Africans as a single uniform genetic group is scientifically inaccurate. I'll repeat that. Studies have shown that genetic difference within Africa are actually larger than those between Africans and Eurasians. Therefore, treating black Africans as a single uniform genetic group is scientifically inaccurate. Cool. I'll go to the next one. Okay. While South African blacks and Nigerians are both African descent, their DNA is not the same in terms of specific genetic markers, ancestry, and admixture. They differ due to thousands of years of separate population history, migration, interaction with different local groups. I'll go to this specific one, what it says, population history. Do you understand? So I'm going to go to the next one as well. Next one says, sharing haplogroup E1B1A does not make two people the same. Sharing haplogroup E1B1A does not make two people the same in terms of immediate ancestry, ethnicity, or total genetic makeup. It only means you share a common paternal ancestor, potentially thousands of years ago. Does not make two people the same in terms of immediate. Okay, cool. The last one. Excuse me. Okay. Yeah, I think I screenshotted the same one. So I hope you guys understand now. You can see that this thing is basically saying we're not the same. Sharing a haplogroup, whatnot, means nothing. You know, even the blood type and all those type of things. All these things this guy is saying because this E1B1A is blood related to those type of things. So it clearly shows that the man does not know what he's talking about. He thinks he can speak about E1, B1, and whatever. None of this suggests that we are the same. It actually says we are different. You know, thousands and thousands of years. You know, and yeah. So I just wanted to show it that the man is just every time you hear him yapping those things, just know that the man is just yapping. Thank you.
You know what?
Thank you so much, bro.
Singakaqhubeki mana kancane ngicela kahleni kancane bagibeli ngiyabona kona iteksi ngathi sigcwele
Koni jolofina
igcwele
la.
iteksi manje kahleni ke singakafiki kumajolof ake siqaleni lana ke ingane zakwethu iteksi igcwele aningakhokhi ngisho ukugibela kule teksi le iteksi manje ayinama-rows ayinalutho nini busy niyakhuluma lana nikhuluma ngo-B1 F1 multiple choice nikhuluma ngama what iteksi igcwele la idinga upetrol phela imoto ukuze izohamba anikhokhi ngisho ukukhokha u-5 rand nje senihlula ukhokha u-5 rand iteksi imile la anisendi lutho ngingazoyenza leyo nto leyo ngoba ma kanjani phela le teksi mina ngizoyithatha ngiyibuyisele lenke ngoba phela ngeke ngidlale nina mina ake ngathi niyayisapotha-ke i-live lapho ningisize nje nisapothe i-live lapho ngane zakwethu sesiwushayile u-100,000 namhlanje wama-likes kuhle lokho izandla yidlule ekhanda amen ake nithumele ama-lows lapho akube i-valentine kule live akube nje i-valentine awasha ama-rose lapho nakya awasha ama-rose ingane zakwethu ngeke yini gibeli seteksini bese ningakhokhi hayi nenze iphutha elikhulu kabi saphothani live man hawu nakhiya-ke ngiyabona-ke manje inhliziyo isiphampa idanoni qhubekani iy'ngane zakwethu qhubekani saphothani lapho inhliziyo iphampa idanoni-ke uma sengibona kunje inhliziyo iphampa i-ultramel ngathi uDisemba hhayi ngixolisa ukukuphazamisa Mzansi for sure you can go ahead.
Yeah, you can shrink me, host.
Na ijolofina
Alright,
alikhuluma ijolofina uthi lizofunana.
Thank you so much, Just Kings. Uzongena sisi wase-Nigeria, uzongena ma'am. You know what is very sad. I don't know palm wine. Ra, Just King, host, lovely my sister. Kodwa niya understand that with Pan Africanists, they are quick to respond, but they are never keen on understanding, eh? And they will never say angazi. Yabona kubona uAngazi ibhomu bangafa. And this tells us one thing. There is a reason why Museveni won yesterday. Last week. There's a reason why he won. And there's also a very big reason why Paul Biya will remain in power. And there is a huge reason why Sani Abacha stole 200 billion from Nigeria in 1994 and put it in Switzerland. Because Pan-Africanists cannot think. Absolutely cannot think. You know what we witnessed tonight? It's exactly what we witnessed the other night when Pitch Black was debating Gandaganda. And I remember I recorded him on his live when he was praising himself that he's a debate champion, and he was telling about Thabo and whoever, Uguti, this is how you debate, and he was like, if you were to see me in person, people always say I'm very matured and I'm very smart, I'm just trying to ease up on this intellectual stuff, He went on, hey, guys, is this a special, am I in a special school or in a special class? What happened? And there's this guy with Yapet. I'm born with this guy, Yapet. But please, you must teach us, my guy. Yo. And then Pitch Black, he chose the topic himself to debate patriotism and nationalism. And when he had to use an example, he used Mabutu Seseko. He does not remember the ANC, that it was a nationalist party. ANC, African National Party, PF, but he said Mabutu Seseko. He just went for Mabutu Seseko. He doesn't even remember the Pan-Africanist Party, the PAC, And I asked him, why would you pick Mabutu Seseko? It was like, no, it's because he was a nationalist. It was like, how? When the guy had billions that he hid in France. And I asked him a simple question. Okay, tell me, what profession was Mabutu Seseko's profession? Well, he said, Agazi. And I'm like, no, but you can't introduce a subject that you know nothing about. Mabutu Seseko was a reporter for the Belgian Times. He was a plant. He was never a nationalist. He was never in a struggle. He was a reporter. So that's the thing with Pan-Africanists. They just want to find something really horrible, and they say this is what is bad about nationalism. But they all love China, and China is nationalist to the core. China is nationalist to the core. There is no foreigner that will ever take the space of a Chinese kid in a class. And for China to be a nationalist, China, he couldn't even talk about Lumumba. Yes, Ra, he couldn't talk about Lumumba. But for China right now, China is Chinese universities, by the way, they are the best in the world, and they've actually beat up Harvard and MIT. They beat up Harvard and MIT because you know what? And Saudi Arabia is right up at the top as well. So I'm just shocked that people don't understand these nationalist countries, that it's all about excellence and it is part of patriotism. Their examples are just limited to Donald Trump. When they think of a nationalist, they think of Donald Trump, but they are not understanding that nationalists pull themselves out of poverty into the first world. So guys, are you telling me these are our future leaders? About BK, they're gonna lead this Pan-Africanist movement and get Hamakwerekwere into South Africa, and then it's gonna be kumbaya. Guys, I'm scared. BK, no Sam, no Reds, no Ngwepe. Oh my goodness, no Pitch Black. It's like they went to a special school. They went to a St. Martin's, or Escola Amoris, a school for the disabled, or the other one. What was the other one? Unfiltered, Le SSC Pingo. I went there as a student, a special school. It's like
Wait, because I heard you say unfiltered. Enye into engicela filtered imali yekhumbi bagibeli ngicela ize ngamasethi ayize ngamasethi ke imali manje.
Ayize
Angithi ngihlele
ngamasethi bo.
nga4
ayize ngama-city
ngicela ize
bo
nga-4 siyangena emnambithi
kuyangenwa manje
manje ngicela ize
mnambithi
ngama-city. Yabona nje inyanga iyaqala manje iyeza ivalentine ngoba kuze i-valentines nje ngicela ukubona
ayize
iy'mbali ngeke isithandwa sami ngeke bafethu uma wey'ngane zami engawathola ama-rose ninawo abe niyaganga
hayibo
ngicela eze
futhi
ama-rose ngama-city aweze
futhi
ngama-city
nje ubaby
noma
patriot
ningaphose
uzoba
ibhubesi
nonyaka this year ubaby patriot so nje o-anti kumele
ngojuni
bafake hawe makusondele
ngicela
jesu
ngicela ize
hey
ngama-city ngicela ize ngama-city
kumele ngidala istokfela
bese niya
sa-baby patriot kuyacaca
yes sengingadebate-ke kodwa ngicela ibize ngama-city-ke.
hayi sengiqedile but nje people they have this thing that they all say we must look to China, they want to be China, but China is nationalist to the core. Tell me of any foreigner that is running any successful company in China. Just one foreigner. Tell me, why is China excelling in everything, competing with the world?
The Chinatown. When I say Chinatown, I mean everybody in that suburb or that neighborhood is Chinese, from the person who's sweeping the streets to the guy delivering the food to the people selling the food or selling whatever in all the shops that they have to the people buying. Like, it's a complete Chinatown. So it tells you wherever they go, they colonize like that, as in, yeah, if uzosebenza nabo uzobasebenzela, but if they can do it themselves, they will. So you're right, ukuthi they're very nationalistic in the sense yokuthi even when they move somewhere else, they create an enclave for themselves. So the idea that they're these wonderful open people, no. China understands capitalism. They understand, or their advantage is manufacturing. So they've maximized their manufacturing capacity because they know, or the world, or the capitalism thrives on cheap labor. So they were willing to turn their own citizens into the cheap labor and the warehouse of the whole entire of the global economy. So the idea that China doesn't look out for China first, and China is on some big kumbaya, let's all get together in one global one global hug. That's not true at all. Everywhere they go, where China is, China lets you know that yes, the Chinese have arrived. So if you're saying that we should look at China as an example like that South Africa should be going all over Africa, exporting democracy like the Americans do, maybe, yeah, that Pan-Africanism I can get behind. If you have nice resources, we're gonna come there. We're gonna give you democracy and liberty. We're gonna free your people, and then we're gonna get rich in the process. I can get behind that Pan-Africanism. But Joguti, we must open our borders to accept all of Africa's failures. Leo Nangihala with every single breath of my in me. And that's the reality, is all of these people that are preaching Pan-Africanism, what they're actually saying is they want us to share Africa's failure, and we should refuse.
Host, Hamilton is requesting host. You know what, Ra? You are so right. It's like this thing that people are saying, no, Russia was on our side. Russia was our friend. Hello, Russia looks out for Russia. With the fall of the Soviet Union, Russia decided that they were going to fight through minerals. Hence, they supported African countries because the West was also fighting for the same minerals in African countries. And Russia right now, I mean, look at China. China is not doing anything to help Venezuela as much as they've been gobbling up their oil. They are looking for Chinese interests. They're not going to go on another war when they still have to deal with Taiwan, when they still have to deal with Japan and Singapore. They would never. You know, this thing that that has come with these Pan-Africanists, that we need to cut ourselves short. We need to dwarf ourselves. You know, we need to reverse our gains so that other people can reach our level. And then Africa is going to be great. I've never heard of such nonsense. My whole entire life.
Look,
My whole entire life. I've never heard of it.
Zant,
Commanders,
you see,
Ninja. I just want to derail you a bit, guys. It's a crashing out session at Pitch Black's panel. According to the people that are there on the panel, the host Ganda Ganda is someone that you're not supposed to be on a debate with and on a panel with. According to those people, it's a crash out session, guys. They are on the panel.
They are crying. I thought they said BK has won. Why can't they go and celebrate BK? Why are they busy sulking their emotions and
Babonile ukuthi
and again
babonile ukuthi
and
BK wabuda kwengombion. Ngoba ayikho yonke lento ade ekhuluma la.
Bavule support
and
group.
again
Hamilton, bavule support group manje.
Bavuli support group
They're in therapy.
in a 2.8
Oh, Lord.
likes. And I want to say this again. All these points, all these points that BK was making, just dismantled that stupid thingy with just 3 or 4 screenshots. He literally debunked his whole nonsense with 3 or 4 screenshots. It
Hamilton, I
proves
think
to
you're giving
you
him too
that
much credit.
whatever he was saying is just nonsense.
I think you're giving him too much credit, Hamilton. If you're saying he made some points, what points did he make? You're giving him too much credit.
Yeah,
That guy was
point
just
of stupidity when a palm wine. Point of stupidity. Because literally
Hamilton BK Light is a poet. He just stand here, and just go B1D B1 say B1
that's an
B1 A.
insult to poets, eh? Lovely, that's
Oh,
an insult to
argue
poets.
no, but he's repeating. No, but the simple one. That one of like the one great one or
Usho mzwakhe
dom.
mbuli.
Mandela
Mandela
is
ustrong. Mandela
repeating the
ustrong.
B1 B1A, LBT 1B B and A, and then
Uzot,
and then we are going to. You find that you take your blood, and you find that it's B1 B1A. How can you be separated from your people because you say the same B1 B1A? You say. Can you hear? This is.
Hamilton, I think we need to break this down because I see people come here bafe bakhuluma into abangayazi. Yabona into le. When we say it genetically, abelungu nabantu abamnyama, we have more than 99% of same genes. The difference is which genes are on and which genes are not on. And that will express in the phenotype. So if ubona umuntu omnyama dark in skin color, it's because the genetic information reproduces itself. Njengoba abantu belala bezala ingane iyayireproducer, uzozala ingane ezenza njalo. In order for the skin tone to be lighter, well, let me not say in order for the skin tone to be lighter, but if you mate with someone who's of a lighter skin tone, the genetic information is going to combine and it's going to produce ingane that is lighter sometimes not. So ama genes is not an accurate way of saying ukuthi abantu bayafana simply because it's about the information active and the information engekho active. That's what it's about. But the genes are 99.9% the same.
Palmer. Sorry,
can I ask this question and then you come in, my
okay.
brother? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Palm wine, where are you from?
Ngwase South Africa, mina ngumZulu.
Exactly. Manje u011234 FBI HDMI kwenzakalani?
Angithi amasimba nje lawo okucasha. Angithi amasimba okucasha lawo. Angithi amasimba okucasha lawo ufu ukhuluma into eningi engazwakali ucashe behind yona. Uzothi awukho umehluko phakathi kwethu namakwerekero. Wawalibona ne South Africa li driver kwi highway nama window evuliwe. wawayibona le nto
bro.
umuntu ombona kahle ukuthi uyayiqala i-fresh air lo uvula amawindi kwi-highway uyaspeeda
Yeah.
lapha ngo-120.
Me, I'm still
You
looking for that frontal globe that you have in your profile picture, Pamwan. Angazi ngiyibone ikhanda lijalo.
you know, Hamilton, brother. You know, it's not the first time I hear this thing. You know, about how different Africans are. The amount of difference between different Africans. You know, you saw what that article that AI overview. You know, they're saying that it's AI and all that. Excuse me. It's AI and all that. No, that is just a collection of serious articles. Do you understand? When that thing collects all those things, it's a collection of all the different articles from different websites and it creates an overview. So it's not the first time I hear this thing, or you would see like Africans are so different from each other. You saw that thing says some of the difference that we have, it's even further than some of the difference that some of us have with Eurasians. Eurasians talking about Europeans. Do you understand? So Africans are so not so far from apart from each other
But
when
just
it comes
King,
to
but just
yeah.
King's my brother. Thank you for bringing up those articles. But he said something very profound. He said cassava is eating up those Africans' brains.
Sure.
And that explains the behavior of West Africans.
Yeah, exactly.
He just insulted them, yeah? He just insulted them.
You know, Mzansi, do you know when the potato is starting to have chlorophyll again, when it's starting to be green? Ke boela kwa lezambaneng la hae. So the cassava, they have a way of there is a way of peeling them. It's like you know that thing of like removing that suntloko, what do we call it, gallbladder from the chicken liver. If you don't remove it first and then just let it go, and then that will be bitter. So bonake, especially the Nigerians. Me, I had a Nigerian when I was in one of the Channel Isles saying he doesn't even like to buy the cassava flour from his own people. He liked to buy the Ghanaian one. And clearly that makes sense. He say these ones, they sell the poisonous one. They are not good in how to prepare it, how to peel it. So, and now that makes sense because the Ghanaian slightly they are better when coming to the brain poisonousness.
But can't he peel it himself by a fellow Nigerian? Can't he peel it himself? Can't they learn to peel it the way Ghanaians peel it? Or is it peeled before it's planted? Guys, you know what? I'm not adventurous when it comes to food, guys. I just like South African and Asian food. You know, yazi and ujeqe ngithi ngudla ngibe sengigula or idombolo. But one thing I can tell you guys, yekani hamba nidlala izinto. Yekani ukuhamba nidlala izinto. Yabona manje nina nje hey guys kumbi la emnyango. You know, I saw a video whereby one American was saying the way Nigerians are moving on this earth, the world is gonna end up with 80% Nigerian DNA. What if their breeding patterns are intentional? The world is gonna end up with 80% Nigerian DNA. And guys, it's scary.
That's why ngithi phambili nge-xenophobia.
Yeah. You know, so yeah, man, whatever.
Uthe umakhanya bathunya uphuthu.
So
Uthe
that
nje
guy,
sekuyisikhathi sokuthi sibathume.
yeah. So Manja, I hope people now they know that we're not as fun. Whenever that you see that guy on any
I
panel,
didn't get it very well,
every time.
lento yakuba Tumi Puto. I thought I will get it, but I don't know. Usho ukuthi
So
sibathumele out ngema njengathi ngepowder.
No, let me explain it to you, lovely. Ne?
Akusiyo
It's
leyo.
it's it's a joke that is usually shared among Zulu people. So there's an incident that happened a year ago, ne? Where the guy, after the incident happened, the guy was pew-pewed and he passed away. So the guy was narrating the story and he said, he sent the other guy to go and buy upot. And then on his way there, he got unalived. So now Zulus took that and they started using it to go to Sizoktumu put. So it's like we're going to unalive you.
Uzofela ngawe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
mama
were
it's
in the
Tumu
same
put.
place. They were in the
Yeah.
same place. Eshisa nyama. Wathi wena mfethu ngicela uyobamba uphuthu. Hamba uthenga uphuthu lapha kanti usemsendela kanti he's sending him to his deathbed basically.
Kahleni bafethu. Ubani manje abasemthumu khona asebevele bamthuma uphuthu fast. Ubani abamthuma uphuthu?
Siyasithuma
Bamthuma
amakwerekwere
uphuthu.
uphuthu.
UBK bamthuma uphuthu, UBK. Bamthuma
Hayi kumele
uphuthu.
sibathume vele kuyaphoqa.
Yeah, Joe, uthi uJoe thina sothenga inyama. Sothi ikwerekwere alishone ngale lo BK liyothenga uphuthu thina sobesila ngasenyameni. For i-alibi.
Nina niyabheda nina. Hayi.
Izola ngalala ganda on your life on your debate, not yesterday, the night before. I didn't hear when people came up to debate the big debate.
So I think the last big debate before the one of today was
Kancane
between me and
ganda.
Sam.
Kancane ganda. We have a visitor from Uganda. Hi, Benin.
Hayi mana siyeza kuBenon. Omunye naye somthuma uphuthu. Omunye naye somthuma uphuthu. But when I lovely, I think before today's debate, the last debate that was had was between myself and Sam, I think.
Yeah, the one yeah kuno Sam. Nina, I heard you. But I think before abantu ba gibela, I was gone, Shem.
It was equally as horrible.
Yeah. No man, it was a good
Ganda
debate.
Ganda.
It was decent.
No, Ganda was awesome. But that other guy, is pop.
No man,
Yeah,
it was a
but
good debate.
to me that debate had some little bit of a weight, eh?
That one, the debate was better, Hamilton.
Unlike the one that we had the previous day to that, which was all talking about electricity, that one at least had some weight to it. Okay, this is what I'm looking at with the open borders. This is what I'm looking at with borders removed and all the things. It had some bit of a weight. I could feel the resistance in Samantha's debate, but Kanda became that TFB and put on that defog. And he was like, okay, I'm going to trash this building right now. It is nonsense. I'm going to move on. And that is where I could feel that, there's a bit of momentum when he was debating, and then Samantha will have a bit of a resistance, but you can see Uti, he's trying, but there's a resistance from that, So yeah, but that was one of the best debates that I've ever seen between patriots and Pan Africans, and the one of today, I will say that
By the way,
when you can.
Hamilton. By the way, man, to call a grown man Samantha is wild, man. You can't do that.
Sorry, man. The one of today. I would actually say that when a pseudo intellectual tries to show his intellectualism, if that's a word, or is his intellectual side, he will always come and use this big fancy word, and then in that same breath he will use words like irregardless. That is not a word. That is not a word. Irregardless. You can't say irregardless. You can't say irregardless. And especially as a scholar, as someone who reads, as someone who proclaims that he's the best, you can't say irregardless.
And as someone who flows in his speech, like what?
Irregardless. That is when I was like, you know what? F this thing, man. This guy's already won. This guy's already won. Because he Breezy thrashed him, and the questions that he also had were unrelated to the topic. They were unrelated to the topic. And the people that came here in support of him were people who are also pseudo intellects as well, because they were supporting this guy being out of topic. Like, if you read the prompt, you bring your points that circle around the prompt. That is where you see the argument of what these people were arguing about. But no, just because it is Samantha or it is whoever,
Oh, Hamilton, here's another thing, right? You must be careful of people who fluff up their answers. So you ask them a question, and then in response, they give you a whole lot of fluff around. Fluff, 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 and no answer at the end. Because those people basically don't know what they're saying. That is exactly what happens there. So this guy in Dianzayo, his trick is this: ask him a question, and then he'll say a bunch of fluff that has nothing to do with the question that you asked, and then he says, "So let me ask you a question."
You know what, Palm
That's
Wine?
not how it works.
When he asks you a question, he wants a yes or no answer anyway,
You
but
know
he
what?
can't do a
No,
yes
that's a
and
way
no
of
answer.
escaping, Lovely. That's a way of
You know what,
escaping
guys?
what you just asked.
You remind me of one of my consultants in varsity. She was an endocrinologist. I loved her because she used to terrify me. I used to read a lot because I was scared of her. And I think I excelled in her unit. She would actually make a grown man cry, like grown specialists. And she would be treating them as if she was treating undergrads. And she'd be like, you know what? One thing that pisses me off is that you're bullshitting me with confidence. And I fucking hate dishonesty. Get out of my ward. And I'm looking at these people that they wouldn't have survived a day in medical school with this attitude. And in every medical school you go to, trust me, we don't want stories. You're being asked a direct question. If it says list, you list. If it says name, you name. I mean, seriously. There's this thing called poverty of thought and pressure of speech. Poverty of thought, it means you are just whatever you're saying is just not there. You haven't thought about it. And pressure of speech, you just want to talk and you can't stop, but you are saying nothing. And this is what Usem does best. Beno BK, Beno Reds. It's like, I don't know, Palm One. I think you were there the other night. When Red said there's a lot of land in KwaZulu-Natal, there's a lot of farms, and then he went on to read on existing white people's farms, commercial farms that are in operation. He's saying, but black people are not using it. I mean, he went on to Google farms that are being owned, that are active, and he's saying it's black people's farms just because they are in KZN. I was just so lost on that day. I was like, no, I would never question Ureds. He can just rent Sizithulele and move on. And I think I think also
Can I say this, Lovely? Guys, you can't out gift like a patriot. Patriots will give you a run for your money. If you decide to give me 10K as a Pan-African, let's say, a patriot would give a patriot 11K gifts. Why? Because they have the money. The very same lazy people that you claim that they are lazy and on the internet, they can give someone 11K worth of gifts. You can't outgift a patriot. That is, you ask a different, and going back to the topic, you ask someone to give out the differences between a a DNA and a what? And a what, palm wine? What was it? A
A
DNA and
gene,
what? And
a
a
gene.
gene.
And a DNA.
Yes. And that person will give you the definition of a gene and a definition of a DNA. Why the hell would you bring that to a question that wants you to give out the differences?
About Hamilton, that question, that is not even a university level question. That is natural science, right? It's one of the first things that you learn back in high school, right? It's like if someone asks you what is a starch, yabo, and then you tell them, Uti, it's basically a complex carbohydrates. What is a carbohydrate? And then when you open a natural science book from a grade 9, you will find that on the very first few pages. What is it? But he comes here with so much jargon that he read on Google that he knows nothing about. But yeah, one thing I've noticed is that South Africans are smart, you know, and we should be proud of ourselves. You know, Oting Susu Kho. We're not like Ugandans, you know. We're smart people here in South Africa.
Teboho is asking, guys, have you checked on Ngwepe, guys? You know, like being sure that Ngwepe and Reds don't need some comforting where they are. Teboho is asking.
Angas. Benon. Benon. Benon, are you there? Okay, B2A might. Guys, it's
Lovely.
Susu
I
Kho,
think
man.
Reds and the Ngwepe have deactivated their accounts. Because patriots, patriots are like abantu abane XP in this political space in South Africa. They can predict a lot of things, and most of the things that they predict are right. You know, we did tell them that that guy, that Mulder guy, who's the president of the VF Plus, doesn't care about them. And he literally came to the stage and said the very same thing, that he doesn't care about other votes. They don't need those votes. They don't want to go into those wards to collect those votes. If people align themselves with is it conservative?
Conservative.
Oh, conlock. Yes, that word. I'm not an intellect, guys.
La la la.
Yeah, you know. So
Nah, man, I think
conservative, people, especially the Afrikaner, they are welcome to come and join the the party, but the party will not change its stance. You know
Hamilton,
how
let me explain
dangerous
this
that
to you,
is.
brother. Let me explain this to you, brother. Let me explain this to you, brother. You see, what these guys don't understand is that what they see of these parties is actually not even close to what the views that these people actually hold, right? For Afrikaner nationalists, it's not just about the policies that you see there that they display. It's more even linked to their religious views, right? Number one, they truly believe that the Bible says they are the chosen nation, right? And they are a superior race and black people are cursed. They hold that view from a religious point of view. And all of those views basically inform what you see on those policies. They might not put it out there bare, but Afrikaner nationalism is rooted in those views, right? They are the chosen people. South Africa is the promised land, you know. Them unaliving people was basically God supporting them and being behind them. I mean, we have the Futraka Monument today. The Futraka Monument is basically a celebration. Every time they come on the 16th of December, they celebrate the idea that they unalived people, Zulus, pretty much, So their ideology is not just what we see there on paper. Their ideology is way deeper than what we see. These people are convicted by their religious views to have those points out there. So when you find black people trying to assimilate and trying to say, yeah, we're gonna be right wingers or we're gonna be conservative and all that stuff, bro, they don't care because they don't believe in their core self. They don't believe that you are worthy. They don't believe that you're even gonna go to heaven. I mean, I was in a platform with Rads and Daniel, and I asked Daniel because Rads was siding with Daniel. You know Daniel, that racist guy, Daniel Clark. They were in the same platform. He was siding with Daniel Clark. And I basically asked Daniel Clark on the same platform, do you believe that Rads will be in heaven? And he said, if a black person like Rads will be in heaven, then he doesn't want that heaven. The very same person he was defending. So it's within their religious view, their twisted view of Christianity. That is where the whole thing comes from. So when you see them say all the things that they say, it's not just them and how they feel, nje. It's deeper than that. Yeah, but anyway, we have new panelists here. We have
Let me paraphrase that statement. The guy said that if that heaven has black people, then he doesn't want that heaven. So I'm wondering what was clicking on Rez's mind when that guy spoke that statement. Like, what does it say to you that you're defending someone and this person will easily throw you on the bus, and yet you're fighting with the people that are trying to show you that this person is not for you? Like,
they don't care.
Was like when you know that day when Mwepe was debating. Who was he debating again now? The first debate, isn't it? When they were debating about the man, the VF. Oh, it was two times when we did the VF. We was debating 41.
41
Yeah.
feet, yes.
Yeah. So like the patriots and the Pan-Africanists were disambenged. Just saying. So can you see now where he is coming from, that man? So as long as now him and Reds are fighting to uplift VF, he's gonna be embracing Reds and then, protecting him and the like. But when they finish, then uzumspuka. Spew off.
Yeah, ne. We have two new people here. B2M, how are you? B2M, I think B2M is asleep now. And Benon, are you there? Okay, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a night because, yeah, I have a long day ahead. Yeah, but anyway, it's been nice, guys. We shall chat tomorrow. Kanda, thank you so much for hosting, man.
If there are moderators here, yeah, mods, you can assist, with accepting requests and whatnot. Yeah, I'll call it a good night as well. A very great platform host. I hope Bullpen will host more of these. but mina ngicela ningangifaki ku-slot ngizocrasha out, and then when I crash out angeke nisathane. Ngiyacela nje ningangifaki mina lapho kuleso slot, yeah, unless I'm mentally prepared for that thing. Anyways, thank you.
You can go with Zamus.
Nah, what I discovered is that, going against patriots really preaches a lot of division. So I'd rather have the opponent side, really, which are the Pan Africans and your stupid Africa is one nonsense and kumbaya. You know, with patriots we can have a little quarrel here and there, but us having that kind of like a special episode, patriotism versus patriotism, then we're going to go to our extremes. Then we are going to bash each other, we are going to get on our throats. But yeah, that is just my opinion. I'd rather debate a Pan-African. And yeah, host, thank you very much. Ganda TOB, siyathemba ukuthi sizokubona futhi sitole i-live enye erana kanje. Ya sizoyithanda, sizoyisapota, sizogifta sifike ku-12K, yeah, thank you.
Yebo, hayi le nna ere ke robala.